And welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast. It's episode 77, WrestleCast edition, part 2 of it. And part 2 is titled Champion Gate New Japan Cup. There you go. Simple enough. I think you know what we're talking about here today. I'm your host, JD, joined by Kay from the Big Egg Joshi Podcast and the Red Leaf Retrocast Patreon. How you doing, Kay?
Doing all right. Part dos.
Part dos, yes. Part 1 entailed Tyler Fudge from the Federation. We went in depth on 2 major shows, very special shows, AEW Revolution and the Dynamite that preceded it, Crossroads, and another major in-depth conversation over Stardom at the Budokan, All-Star Dream Cinderella. Very much encourage people to go and listen to that episode. It's 2.5 hours of statistics, hot takes, factual takes, and stories, yes. So plenty of that. Go check it out. If you want to help out, contribute to the Patreon, and listen to our Joshi 2010's journey through the tape trading and the research that entails into it, consider joining the $1.50 tier. And included in that, you will also get our Wrestler Rankings audio episode. Now in its 4th iteration, this is the first year audio that we're keeping track of everything. So some predictions, some takes, some discussion over whom makes the rankings week in and week out. And then on the $5 tier, it's all the extra super special content like your JD Star reviews, Kay.
Yes, JD Star is starting to ramp up in my reviews. When the next episode comes out, you'll see what I mean.
I'll drink to that. I am drinking a nice little old-fashioned with good Canadian whiskey and going a little bit outside my bourbon boundary here.
You see, I'm just trash. I have a Irish blend monster, the only coffee monster I drink, and I have a shot of scotch in it.
Oh man!
So I am horrible. I'm awful. I will say this: that episode with Tyler Fudge, probably my favorite thing we've done so far. I had a lot of fun on that episode. It was very much a fun discussion with him.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone to go check out the Federation. He's currently doing TNA pay-per-view reviews.
Oh boy, I bet that's fun.
I enjoy listening to them and the guys over at Suplex City Limits. They don't give a fudge, if you will.
As they shouldn't with TNA.
No. Follow me at BowlingJD, Red Leaf Retrocast. I have started some more statistics. I've been kind of tracking some things that interest me and just mostly things I'm curious about. I'll be posting some of the graphs I've been making and, like in-ring minutes, women's average wrestling presented per show, that kind of stuff. I just think I'm a guy who likes wrestling, and I like good wrestling, and I like to see things improve. So go check that out there. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, did you have something to add?
I would say just go follow me at blue_Kano1. Sometimes you get hot takes. Sometimes you get me ranting about old people, and sometimes you get some really, really interesting Joshi history that I drop on you occasionally.
I love the gimmick of you're just going balls in on the old people rants.
Oh, it's so much fun now. Like at this point, I'm just having a blast with old people. Oh, retirement homes thing.
It's really funny. I love how people get gotten to so easily these days.
That's great.
So that's like me posting statistics. Oh my god, how dare you? Anyways, on
Numbers
this episode,
scare me.
Yes, on this episode today, still no recommended matches from outside promotions. We're kind of sticking within our boundaries still. Our boundaries are like 8 promotions, no matter. We got AEW Dynamite from March 10th, since we already spoke about that on part 1. New Japan Pro Wrestling is going all in with the New Japan Cup. We're about through the second round here. Dragon Gate had Glorious Gate at Korakuen Hall and both days of Champion Gate. So that's really nice. DDT had the All Out Produce show. Not so much happening out of DDT right now, as they're gearing up for big March 28th show. Stardom, just a tidbit of post-Budokan fallout. Tokyo Joshi Pro, Max Heart Tournament Finals, and a fun little 11v11 pay-per-view show. And then Ice Ribbon, they're gearing up for another show in, April? Or at the end of the month?
March 27th. The big Tsukasa versus Maya rematch.
There you go. Peace Party 68 is what we're talking about there. And then a lot of the classics, the retro stuff to wind out the last hour or so. As we do, we continue with All Japan Women. New Japan through the 90s. We're finishing out the January 4th, 95 Tokyo Dome card. And WCW Nitro from March 1st, 1999. We ended up watching that on March 1st.
Funny how the timing works.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Now we'll be behind again every other week. It's a good thing,
That's
too.
okay.
I can only handle so much Nitro.
Oh, God. If we watched that every week, I'd be driven insane.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that does it for our little... Oh! Go listen to All Japan Women Destiny. Nice little spin-off All Japan Women podcast we started. There you go. There's the last plug.
Yeah, some very interesting things that we talk about there, especially given looking back on all of it, some very interesting knowledge that you will probably only get there, then you probably won't get as much here because we're not talking about those specific events.
That's right. And with that, let's get on to AE Dubs. Alrighty. AEW Dynamite March 10th, 2021. Daly's Place. We're still there, Kay.
I mean, we'll eventually leave there. Don't you worry.
So what'd you think of the show? Fallout from Revolution. The big question was how are they going to pivot and create kind of a kayfabe storyline over the poofy farty smoke pyro?
As a whole, I liked the show. It was a bit messy in terms of the structure, but that was fine. They were pushing a lot of storyline stuff, which was obviously important after a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Moxley Kingston portion of the talk about the poof failure of Explosion. Kenny one, like, it was funny, kind of childish, but it kind of went on a little too long. I feel like that it's just a little drawn out. I definitely like the line of Impact paid for the bomb.
Oh, that killed me.
Oh, it was great. And the all I wanted was an Explosion death match, and I got this lousy T-shirt.
Yeah, I liked the pivot to it. They kept it totally in line with the characters, where Kingston told a story about how he basically got anxiety. He got flashbacks from him going to prison, basically, and they could really only do that story with a guy like Eddie Kingston because he's a dude that's tough, but he also wears his heart on his sleeve, so I quite like that. I liked Moxley kind of sitting there going, I really wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. Didn't happen. I think you wanted to blow us up. And Kingston's like, maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe I have that the other way around. Either way, love the pivot, love the story. What I didn't like about the show, and this is kind of a modern wrestling problem, is the lack of showcasing your damage. So Moxley,
I noticed that.
Both Moxley and Omega went through this big bad barbed wire death match, and they aren't no one's in a neck brace, no one's bandaged up. They're moving like it's every other day. That is something about the old school wrestling. I'm going on my Starrcade journey, right, Kay? Anytime there's an attack or some brutal match, they're always wearing the effects for the next week or two, and depending on how bad it is, maybe many weeks at a time.
Right. I'll say one thing. I originally thought they were going to do that when they had the Kingston Moxley promo, because the way Moxley was kind of sunk in the chair with the shades on, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna was it Breakfast at Bernie's? He's just gonna lay there the entire time. I thought they were gonna do that. Then they started talking, and I was like, okay, he's funny, but that's kind of I kind of wish they would sell at least some scars on the face, like something. You just had an exploding death match, 48 hours before all of this, pretty much. So
yeah, I mean, outside of the dud, like that match was amazing. We were locked in from bell to bell. That was really good.
it was great.
Maybe the Bullet Club interference went on a little bit too long, but Moxley was so proud. He was so accepting of the fact that he went in there knowing there'd probably be interference. We failed to mention the excellent spot where Moxley took the one-winged angel and he didn't kick out. He put his foot on the barbed wire, which caused it to explode, and Kenny's face, and he had to get water. Just so many good touches throughout that match. And yet the best I saw was Moxley kind of having moving an ice pack on his shoulder under his jacket. I'm like, that's not good enough. So
no. I think I did mention in the part 1. I did mention the kick out of the one-winged angel via the barbed wire exploding.
Oh. Well, if you did, I have forgotten. But
I think I mentioned it. I know I've mentioned it off air, but I think I mentioned it there too because I really was a fan of that spot. Like I popped so hard I fell off the bed.
Yeah. Omega and Callis and the Bullet Club, their promo I thought was excellent, kind of 80s cartoon heel character, like a bully in high school. 69 me, Don. 69. You know, the clock's ticking down. They're all going. That is classic heel stuff, and Kingston's just pissed off. He's embarrassed. He comes out, counts the dudes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck it.
Oh, I love that touch. It was great.
Yeah, he's putting his back into the corner so they can't surround him. And then the more they egg him on, the more he comes out of the corner. So another nice touch there. All the whole show, I know what you mean. It was a bit messy because because they only have 2 hours, they have to cram so much in and keep people busy. So hopefully, when Elevation starts on Monday, which I'm very excited for, I'm quite excited to see this extension of what we've known the Pandemic Dark to be, with main event Riho and Maki Ito, which should put many haters into despair, which I love.
Oh yeah, especially because you got the people now that are, I like Maki Ito, the character, but she's a bad wrestler. It's like, my guy, just go watch her at TJPW. You would have seen. Well, she's not a bad wrestler. She's an average wrestler. Bad wrestlers are Ratchet Chanel, whatever her name was. That was her name, right?
Yeah, she's by far the worst, worst I've seen to date.
Or Big Swole that won that Cheetah match. Like, that's a bad wrestler. Like, or fucking Rebel. Oh God, don't get me started on that.
Rebel's
that's a
bottom,
bad wrestler. Yeah. Ito is an average wrestler with a good character. A character that most people don't even get because they're just seeing the Simps hello motherfuckers thing instead of the story that built to that.
Well, even then, they're starting to tell the in-ring story with Ito where she's about the performance and she ends up getting pinned. There's your story. Go with it.
Right. I think as a longtime Ito follower of her story, it makes it a little sad that that's the story they're going with because that's like a year and a half ago story with Ito.
Well, she's in a different promotion with supposedly higher end workers, quote unquote, kayfabe workers, and I don't think it's a bad story that they're telling. I think it's okay, and she's going to be going back to TJPW soon enough, and again, it's okay. So back to the Moxley Omega segment here. So Kingston's getting beaten down. They promised a Christian Would Speak segment, and AEW has been very overly using this method of they tease a big speaking segment, but in reality they're writing stories where these guys will interrupt them. Same thing with Sting, and they end up coming out, or they're interrupted, can't speak. Technically, they're not false advertising, but it is. I could see it being towing a line with people and getting a little aggravating. Yeah.
I was about to mention that because I got a little annoyed with that because because I've said it before, but I was getting tired of seeing Sting every week for him to come to the ring, have his entrance, say nothing, get interrupted, and go to the back. The weeks that was happening until he finally started doing stuff, and Christian doing this, I'm like, it's becoming a crutch. And it's not a good crutch.
Right. It's one of their go-to storytelling methods. Every promotion has their formula, right? And if obviously AEW feels this is one of their part of one of their formulas, along with kind of the post-match beatdown scenario or post-match brawl angle, if you will. So in the Omega, Kingston and Moxley comes out. They all kind of brawl in the back. It sets up the next week where I believe it's the Good Brothers versus Moxley and Kingston. I'm all about that. Christian's music hits. Christian Cage's, to be specific. He's going by Christian Cage, his TNA name. He has the countdown, even with basically his Impact Wrestling music.
Is his Impact Wrestling music, because I recognize that song. That song is as I said it before, it's a rip-off instrumental of a Evanescence song I like. Those I know about his song. That's how I knew who it was when he came out. I was like, oh my god, that's the fucking rip-off Evanescence song I like. That's Christian.
Yeah. And we talked about this briefly, that AEW can do a lot of interesting storytelling with Christian, right? Dude's come out of retirement. WWE just continued to see him even when he tried to make a comeback. Post TNA main event run, they still saw him basically as, a mid-carder. And he's coming out with the whole outwork everyone gimmick, and looks at that title. Hey, that's a nice title you got there, Omega. Maybe I'm interested. They do a little angle there, so maybe they do this match on TV. Maybe they save it for Double or Nothing. Maybe Christian Cage works his way up. He's definitely, I think, going to have a match on TV prior to it all. And when you look at the rest of the show, and I was talking with Discord member Sigma on this one, we're just kind of breaking down all of the angles they shot over the show. And seemingly every single person that's being pushed in some form or fashion, heel or face, is occupied. So this is a great movement for Christian Cage to be in the main event while everyone else is busy.
Right. So I'll say one thing on that. I hope they don't give us that match right now. I want them to build up and have him have more wins before that, because his gimmick is outwork everybody.
Right.
Okay. So if his first match, or even second match, or even third match is against Kenny and he loses, comes off like a dud.
I disagree with that.
Outwork everybody. You beat two people and then you lost to Omega. I don't want him to come in and hit one of his, and then he gets maybe a handful of wins and then loses to Kenny. Kind of build him up a little bit before you do that, because then that feeds into the WWE guy comes in and gets title shot. And I don't like that. I don't want that to be a narrative that can be said, and I want Christian to do more before it challenges to that belt. I think you can have somebody else come up and challenge for that belt before then. It's not like you have to defend it every week. You've got a pay-per-view with, 4 months away? Something like that. You can build another person up to that. 2 months. You can build somebody before that. You don't need to do Christian.
I think Eddie Kingston is going to be that guy. I think he is going to be kind of before Christian, and
that's fine. I'd rather that. I'd rather they do that. I'd rather him not be the next defense, because I'd have a bit of an issue with that.
Yeah, I think Omega is going to get 1 or 2 defenses in before Double or Nothing. Probably 1. Keep it special. Look, if you're going to sign somebody and you truly believe he's good enough to be in your main event, then use the guy, And as we've seen with AEW and how they utilize guys and get a decent amount of push when they first sign him, it's okay if they lose the match, and then they can build up. Use their momentum to sell something. And I think this is a good move for Christian Cage. Now, if he wins, I think then we kind of are a problem, because that was the TNA thing, where an ex-WWE guy or an outsider would come in and beat up your own guys, and they'd beat them. Main eventer or not, that's when it becomes a problem. And AEW has the track record to date of not doing that. In fact, they lose almost every time. And that's probably the better way to go.
All right, I'll say this. AEW also has a track record of having a main event, having a guy that thinks is in the main event come in and not have to be in a main title storyline, being a bigger storyline that can also main event. I'd like them to do that with Christian.
Well, they did that with Sting, did they not?
They did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can do that. They've shown that they can do that. I'd rather you do that with Christian. Build him something else before he gets to the title match.
Well, one thing happened on the show that I was very much advocating. More upper mid-card feuds, especially in the singles area, right? And that was what happened with Cody and Pentagon. I loved this. It's so simple. Two guys were in the ladder match, and we spoke with Tyler Fudge. Like, they're really utilizing these multi-man matches a little too much. The ladder match, the Casino Royale, etc. And what this Dynamite proved to me was that ladder match is a launching point for a lot of characters. Penta and Cody were in it. Cody gets a match. Penta's kind of peeved. He's like, man, I'm going to take this opportunity. Gets on the mic. He cuts a promo in Spanish. Pulls off the Spanish announcer, Alex, like Haba, I forget his last name. Habaneris, something like that. Anyways, and he's translating for him in this super smug manner because he's a part of the Spanish commentary team, and he wants to support the lucha, right? Great.
Right.
So, and simple enough. Pentagon talks shit. Cody gets mad. They got a match next week.
That's good. That's good. I will say that criticism of the multi-man thing does still stand. I still think, but that's good that they've done something with it. And
right, they're doing more off of it.
Right. But I feel like I get that wrestling shows have crutches, right? But I think the key to a good wrestling show is to still have those crutches, but not over-rely on them, so you can mix things in with them. And I think AEW's kind of getting in a bit of a pattern where they're over-relying on certain crutches, to the point where we're actually noticing it, right? And I think that's kind of an issue. It's not going to ruin my enjoyment of Dynamite, but it becomes a noticeable pattern to where you start... I can see if this becomes like a thing throughout this entire year, I can start losing interest in parts of stories because of this. They start utilizing the crutches too much.
Yeah, I guess we'll see the next guy or two they might bring in. Maybe a guy goes out. We'll see. We'll see what they do.
I'll say this. How about you take Miro out of that god-awful story he's in right now and have him feud with Christian?
That would be something I'd be interested in later. But yeah, Miro is still locked in with the best friends and their little arcade shtick. So
yeah, that story's going on too long. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a little too long. I'm lost interest in it.
Yeah, it's an undercard feud. Not a lot of people are into it. I'm basically just curious to see what video games they destroy.
Oh yeah. The match they're setting up with all the arcade machines at the ringside. That's cool. That's a funny concept. But please, God, let that be the final match between these people.
Yeah, definitely don't need it. I expect the best friends to win that match, and I guess we'll find out if there's going to be yet another rubber match. Ethan Page, he debuted. Fuck that guy. Don't even care. His debut was boring as fuck. Plus, there was audio issues for a lot of people on TNT. Couldn't be happier for the guy.
You really hate this guy. This is like your Nanae Takahashi for you. You just don't like him.
I guess you can make that comparison. I definitely don't like him. He is not my favorite wrestler out there. And then, let's see. Maki Ito sang. People brawled. A mess of a trios match, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I was expecting it to be a mess. Anyone who didn't expect it to be a mess was kind of... Listen, Ito has, like, zero experience with most of these people in this ring. And the one she does have experience with is, like, one match so far.
Yeah, not much to go on there. Thunder Rosa pins her.
She's still fresh off the plane. Yeah, she's still fresh off the plane. I mean,
so,
come on.
Post-match beatdown, lots of chaos in the match. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, they continued their feud. They're having a lights-out match next week. First women's main event on Dynamite. Go for it. Kill it. I hope they do well.
I really hope they do well as well. My hopes are my bar is kind of low because Britt's not good, and Britt and Rosa have already had a match and it wasn't very good. I'm hoping the stipulation added can add more to it to make it better.
Yeah, we'll find out. My bar's not too high, but hey, as long as I'm entertained and they put in a good effort and the booking isn't atrocious for the match layout, it'll probably get a thumbs up from me. So I'm glad they're going this direction. They kept the feud fresh. They kept teasing things in the tournament. They've never gone away with it. It's it's a 3.5 4-month build to this lights out match. I'm very much excited for it. Scorpio Sky turned heel, boosting off that ladder match again, grabbed the big Sonic ring, lost to Darby Allin. I think that's the right decision. Darby Allin escaped basically with the roll-up. Very crafty guy. And Sky looked at his hands. He wasn't shaken. He's like, all right, we're doing this. So good little character launching point for Scorpio Sky. Again, played out of the ladder match, if you will. Much better than the ladder match itself. So it kind of gets me a little bit more perspective on what that ladder match meant at Revolution. Lance Archer came out, interrupted Sting, kind of set his eyesights on the legend. That's an interesting matchup. See how that turns out. So again, all these guys that you'd think are going to be the main event, they're clearly occupied with calling their next shot. So Omega has his hands tied with Christian, possibly, and Eddie Kingston. The Moxley thing isn't over. A number of other, feuds being developed. And then the major main event angle, MJF trying to turn the tides on Jericho, kick him out of the inner circle. Sammy Guevara comes out, throws the video on there, and Jericho goes, "You think we don't talk to each other? What is this, 1983?" Basically. And they do the Dragon Gate turn, the double swerve, just when you think MJF is going to get beaten down. And this is a great angle it's when right before the climax happens, you figure it out, right? You just go, oh, he made his own group. And sure as shit, like the second you think that, MJF goes, I was building my own group. Lights go out, lights come back on, and boy, did they tease this hard. The previous week, it was the Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, J.J. Dillon. They're teasing Horsemen. Sean Spears joined up with FTR. His manager was Tully, who was also managing FTR, but they never teased them together as a group. And we're all thinking, they just need a leader. Well, who better, Chris Kanyon style, than the guy who's basically the Ric Flair-like talker, and he's been strutting in all of his matches lately, leading that group. And they do a big-ass beatdown of the inner circle, so we saw a lot of character changes. I'm not convinced of this tweener role. AEW has been very clear with matching the characters to the story being told. So if a guy needs to lean a little bit more heel for a certain match and the role that they're in, they're not afraid to do that. And they play into making that a deeper part of their characters. I do like that. But in this case, Inner Circle, they're now baby faces to go up against the heel MJF faction that's been developed. I love a good faction. I love a good fresh coat of paint on the Inner Circle. Huge angle to end the show. The show gets a big thumbs up from me. Again, Kay, I agree. A little messy, little overloaded, but when you put it all together, it gets you excited for the next few months.
Yeah, no, I loved this turn angle. It's right up there with me with the Okada turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okada double turn in Dragon Gate. That I was like, oh, I loved that. I love this because I didn't see the group thing coming. I didn't see it coming at all. He's like, when he grabs like, I've been making my own group. I was like, oh god, it was so fucking good. Such a good turn. Such a good segment.
Yeah.
This is the best part of the show. It was the best part of the entire show.
Yeah, it's a great place to put it in the main event. It really gets you hyped up when the show ends, and you just can't wait to watch next week. So AEW is doing a good job building up their TV and the feuds going forward. You can nitpick and find some things you don't like and some things that may or may not make sense or it doesn't appeal to you. That's fine. As long as you're excited to continue watching, that's kind of what matters, right?
Right. Because I have my own issues sometimes here and there, but I never hate the shows. I never not enjoy them. If I didn't, I wouldn't watch it anymore.
So, I think that does it for Dynamite. What do you say?
I say so.
Okay, well then that will bring us to the New Japan catch-up, and I have a new drop. I have some new drops actually, a whole bunch for new ones. So gonna be playing some new things here. Let's see here. Looking. I believe I got Shingo's. Yes. Playing Shingo's. All right, New Japan Cup had happened. They also had the anniversary show prior. And I apologize, everybody. We totally forgot to mention the Kenta Moxley U.S. title match that was on New Japan Strong last podcast episode.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah. It just totally blew over our head. But I like that match. The lack of crowd did hurt it in the end, but they went out and killed each other. Definitely suggest like throwing some music that you like over the match. Make it way better.
Throw some heavy metal over it. It should fit.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Like Moxley's entrance song that just nonstop plays the whole time.
Oh, that why didn't they do that for the match? Jesus, that'd be awesome.
Would be funny. The anniversary show. El Desperado loses to Kota Ibushi. I thought the match was well worked. Lacked some fire up until the finishing stretch, which was awesome. The last sequence in particular, it got me hard, Kay. Got me hard. Despy has the best stretch muffler ever locked in, including Bushi's arms, which I thought was a really cool hope spot there. Just as Ibushi is about to grab the ropes, Despy pulls him back into the ring, and the crowd pops because they were super convinced that was going to possibly get a good little finish there. But Ibushi, in the same sequence, rolls through and he holds the arms and hits the Kamigoye. Big pop from the crowd again. He gets the win. Look, I'm not crazy about Ibushi's finish becoming the new Destino, where everyone kicks out of the first one until he drops the knee pad. It's a little too formulaic at this point with his matches, but nonetheless, this was a pretty good damn match. Way better ending than how it started. I hope this continues to lead to Despy being made into a big star of the junior division. This is kind of that Jushin Thunder Liger booking theory that I always talk about. Hiromu was such a star level above everybody in the division, and it just didn't seem like he had a lot of competition. So, ironically, I think him going out with this injury helped Desperado become a bigger star. Then you got El Phantasmo in the wings. He can become a bigger star, and the next person to challenge Desperado hopefully can improve the elevation of a lot of those guys in that division. So that's my thought over that match. You didn't watch much New Japan this time, did you, Kay?
No. I was much too busy these past couple weeks, so I had to watch stuff that I was interested in and could catch. And right now, New Japan's not really catching me. I'll say one thing though: I don't like the idea of them merging those belts. It's not good for me. I don't like the idea.
No, it's the merging of the belts. I'm not too particularly. I don't really care about that too much. It's
the lineage erasure.
Yeah,
right?
it's
That's
disintegrating the lineage, which I am not a fan of, and at least in the circle of the universe that I listen to and pay attention to, nobody's a fan of erasing the lineage. A little 50-50 on the combining the titles, but the lineage is the one that nobody is. Everybody's in agreement on not liking it.
I was in agreement on both sides of the world. I did go through a bit where I was checking some of the Japanese fan responses on Twitter at the very least, and a lot of them hate the idea. They think it's disrespectful to the lineage, disrespectful to the past champions, and they're calling for Gato to be taken off the book.
Oh well, that's a little overreaction,
but those are reactions. But there was enough of those for me to be like, oh, the Japanese fans do not like this. I think someone needs to go into Gato's ear like, hey, buddy, no, merge the belts, whatever. Lineage erasure, get the fuck out of here with that. Because to me personally, that comes off as a WWE move. I don't like that. Merge the belts and then erase the lineage. That's what they've done before.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that.
Oh yeah,
I hate the idea of that. It's so stupid and bad. And no, and I really do hope that somebody stops that from actually being the case.
It's kind of ironic because in All Japan Pro Wrestling, they want to get rid of their single belt and split it back into the Triple Crown, where there's three belts again. So it's kind of funny between these old companies. New Japan is combining, and All Japan wants to decombine.
Do you think it's maybe a trying to gain back interest? Maybe there has been a decline in interest in wrestling almost across the board, with the exception of Stardom. Stardom is the only thing that's gained interest over in Japan. Then, at least from my knowledge, it seems like New Japan's dipped a little bit. A few others have dipped a little bit. Maybe this is they're trying to get interest back in.
Well, New
Japan seem like any other makes sense.
I wouldn't say it's a reactionary move to the product in decline. Look, New Japan is getting focused on their next era, and so is Dragon Gate, for that matter. They're both gearing up for that next generation, and I guess New Japan feels that utilizing this new belt will define the next era.
Right, and that's still pretty stupid, but...
Well, I mean, Dragon Gate more or less did it by getting rid of the kind of open the box on the title. They came out with new titles all around. You know, they went about it a little bit differently. There was some blowback of, you know, they still have the keys, but they don't have the compartment, at least not in the same manner. There was a little blowback there. So there's always going to be some negativity towards some moves that some promotions make. Let's see. I'm more than willing to see it play out, but the lineage still don't think you need to wait to see that. As for the New Japan Cup, Kay, I think this has overall been a pretty decent little tournament to watch. One or two cup matches a day across their shows. What they're doing is they're making up, this is kind of what a lot of companies are doing right now, especially New Japan, is instead of running like one or two big shows, you know, and drawing the bigger gates, they're doing a bunch of smaller shows to make up for the ticket sales and business. So I'm like, okay, from the business sense, I like it, but this tournament with one or two matches a day, it's kind, in a way, it's kind of diluted the tournament in a way. I don't have the same sense of drama and match importance, even though it is technically still there. It's coming across very strange to me optically and how I view these matches. But the matches themselves, I think, have been largely pretty good. Like there's only been a couple actively bad matches that I've watched, Kay. So I'll just talk about the bigger ones, and then I'll kind of go down the bracket a little bit. Great Okan beat Naito, which technically is an upset. I thought it was a real fun wrestling bomb match focused on Naito's damage done from the prior show against Ibushi. Naito came out kind of mocking Okan, and Okan just kind of stares him down and beats his ass. It was kind of like an extended squash because Naito had suffered so much damage. And then once he beat Naito via the submission ref stoppage, Okan then mocked Naito after the match. So a lot of good character work going on here. He wrestles so much different than everybody on the roster. He's a very polarizing character. I personally like him, and I like the difference he brings to a largely samey kind of promotion. Minoru Suzuki defeated Honma in a beef jerky meat match. This is 2 years in a row Honma's had a good match in the New Japan Cup. So good for him. This match was just two dudes slapping each other while standing. It was quite awesome. It's my second favorite match in the tournament so far. Kenta and Juice. I thought this was disappointing. I thought it dragged pretty hard. I don't recommend it, which is a shame because Kenta has been doing excellent character work, and he's been hitting a lot lately with me. This match was not it, but Kenta's match against Minoru Suzuki absolutely hit. I love that sucker. I thought it was better than their match in Noah that was many years ago. They just beat the shit out of each other, and the best part, while Minoru Suzuki's coming out with his epic entrance, you know, his big song and everything, Kenta has a newspaper, and he's just laying and sitting there reading it throughout his entire entrance. It's great.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. They do the whole beginning based around this newspaper, so little character work there from Kenta. Super good stuff. And before I get to the best match of the tournament, I have the rest of the kind of breakdown. Tenzan Ospreay had a real good match, I thought. I thought Ospreay real good. Oh, little playback there from UK. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, the audio seems to be a little off on your end as well.
Okay. I guess we'll just deal with it for now.
Let me know if it stops at any point.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
trying to work on my end to see if I can get it to stop.
No problem. It's fine. We'll deal with it. So Ospreay and Ospreay and Tenzan. Ospreay just has this knack for bringing out the best of his opponents, no matter how limited they are. Good stuff. What's real annoying is Tenzan is doing the Mongolian chop that he lost to Okan, and he's not getting DQ'd, so they clearly didn't give a shit about going through with that stipulation. Didn't like that. Zack Sabre and Gabriel Kidd had just a straight up good wrestling match, right to the mat. If you're into that, recommend that. I thought Nagata has looked kind of bad in this tournament so far, although all he did was face Yota Tsuji. Sonata beat Ishii. I thought that match was pretty okay. I am definitely not into Sonata and his very samey match structure that he does. So he'll face Nagata in the next round. Finley beat Owens. Yoshihashi beat Yujiro. Toa Hanare didn't look all that great against Jay White. So Jay White against Tanahashi in the next round. Taichi lost to Goto. Okada beat... no. I'm sorry. Where am I? Let's see.
The audio better now? Is it
fine?
Coming through the same way?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Don't worry about it. Why are you worrying about it?
Don't worry about it. Got you.
And the best match of the tournament is Shingo versus Okada. Okada looks like he's clearly hurting. It could easily be a work, but I'm not convinced it's a work. It looks very much like he's hurting a lot. According to reports, he's got 2 slip discs in his back. I'm shocked he's able to do what he's doing. But it wouldn't shock me if he's just working us. Either way, it's working me and I love it. True or false. And this match was awesome. Not as good as their G1 match, but worked extremely well. Lot of levels of drama to it where I was very much engaged. They repeated the money clip submission from the G1. This Okada roll clutch pin scared the hell out of me. The very pin that he beat Jericho with. I thought Okada was going to win there. And Shingo just doesn't miss. His speed, power, everything clicked to... he even mocked Okada in the middle of the ring doing his Rainmaker pose. Pinned this dude. He is my immediate favorite to get to the finals against Ospreay so they can repeat their inevitably great matches. So, and then Shingo beat Goto today. Good for him. Match was all right. It's kind of my New Japan Cup roundup.
Yeah. Sounds like a whole lot happened. I guess I'll try to catch it later when there's more of it.
Yeah, you could watch like the semifinals
didn't have a whole lot
and
of time
stuff.
on my end.
Yeah.
I just didn't have enough time to watch that amongst the other things and then take care of the other things that I had to do. Busy week. Busy week.
That's all right.
Weeks, actually.
Well, on to the Dragon Gate-o. You ready for this?
Yes, enter the Dragon Gate.
All right, I got new music. It's Yamato. Get ready. Alrighty, Kay. We got a couple shows to talk about here. 3. We got Glorious Gate and then both days of Champion Gate. We watched Glorious Gate, and I believe you watched the big title matches from Champion Gate. Am I correct on this?
Yes, I meant to go back and watch the rest of the show, but again, time constraints. But I did watch the 2 important matches, and I got some good feelings about those ones. Some good words to say.
Well, okay. Glorious Gate at Korakuen. It was a fine show, nothing special. Clearly, they are building to the bigger matches here. SB Kento defeated Dragon Kid, 11:35. Kind of slow, kind of too slow a match for my taste. Dragon Gate's been doing a lot of this kind of style work. Kento removes the mask again to small package Dragon Kid. And then in the main event, Yamato defeated Kai in 7:35. So you definitely got a little house show vibe from Korakuen Hall here. Hulk bungles a chair shot interference. Yamato takes advantage to win. So two opposite type finishes here for this feud. Post-match, it's announced at Dangerous Gate. There will be a tag team steel cage match, 3 flags. First team to grab 2 will win, while the losing team then faces each other in a hair versus mask match or hair match. And the interesting part is the teams aren't RED versus Kid and Yamato. They are they are mixing the teams, so it's Kid and Kento, the two guys in a feud, versus Yamato and Kai. So there's incentive to win no matter what the who your partner is. Enemies must team together or risk losing their hair or mask. I love this. Very hyped after all this build that they've done. It definitely brings a new interesting factor to the steel cage match. I'm very, very excited for this.
Most Dangerous Gate. So wait, is this going to be the same cage match we watched last year for at Most Dangerous Gate?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, I thought that happened later in the year at all times.
No, that was changed due to the virus outbreak last year.
Oh, okay. So I just assumed that it happened towards the end of the year.
No, it's always in May.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for Most Dangerous Gate.
Yeah, buddy. And then we had Champion Gate. Okay. As I probably slow down my computer here working it. Oh, boy.
Yeah, coming a bit crackly on my end, definitely.
Yeah, let me, I think my computer's just overheating a little bit here. Bear with me, Kay. As I...
Well, bear with you.
Yeah, bear with me. I'm just pulling up the card. It's, just a little slowdown. Okay, Dragon Gate. Let's get these 2 Champion Gate cards in front of my face hole. Take a little swig of the drink.
Drink in the face hole.
Okay. So again, just, new faction high end. RED is in full swing feuds. Open the Brave Gate title match on night 1 here. It's Keisuke Okada defeating Hio, and I am calling him HYO from now on because this match was garbage. This was not good.
I watched this match, and man, I love Okada. This isn't his fault. That Hio sucked. Oh my god, bad. Don't put him in title matches, please. He's bad.
It's Hio's biggest match of his career, and I thought it was completely bungled with the match pace and the constant RED interference. I usually don't mind a good heel shtick from RED, but the entire match was plagued with this, and Hio just walking, the pace never picked up. There was a tiny bit kind of in the middle where they were exchanging blows, but for it just to end on the way that it did, where RED bungles interference and Okada just kind of gets away with one, I thought this helped neither guy and made each guy look weak. I thought this was an actively bad match. Very sad. Very sad.
Yes, it does 3 sins for me. Slow matches. Hate slow matches, especially if they're boring slow matches, right? Good slow matches can work. Boring slow matches, ambient. Get out of here with that. Heel interference to where it detriments the match. I'm okay with RED most often because I think sometimes it works very well into the drama of the match. Mm-hmm. In this case, get out of here with that. No. Bad. Terrible interference. And then walk and brawl. I hate slow walk and brawl. Get out of here with that. What do you think this is? 1990s WWF? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so definitely not a recommendation there. Open the Triangle Gate match. Natural Vibes defeat the RED team of Inferno, Diamante, and Kikuta. I thought this was all right. Susumu don't miss either. Genki still going strong, and I don't think this KZ turn is happening anytime soon. I think they've gotten away from that vibe, to turn a phrase.
I think it's a slow turn. Listen, if anything you've taught me about Dragon Gate, anything I've learned about Dragon Gate, period, things take a lot of time. They don't just pay off right away. I definitely think this heel turn's happening. They don't just tease things.
Yeah, we might have to pay attention to this in the entire year. If it's gonna be anything, it will happen at the year end.
I think the minute they lose those belts, we'll start seeing more of it go into swing.
I guess we'll find out.
I think KZ will get pinned when they lose. I think KZ will be the one that eats the pin when they lose.
Yeah. Didn't get an opportunity to watch the Dragon Gate show from today. Haven't been spoiled on much there. Mochizuki and Yoshida win the Twin Gate titles from BB Hulk and Kai. This match actually exceeded my expectations, Kay.
This match ruled.
I wasn't expecting much from the Mochizuki Yoshida team. I didn't think they'd go to the story end conclusion that quick. Yoshida, in any Yoshida match, there's definitely a ceiling to it all. Mochizuki, excuse me, a lot of podcasting today. Mochizuki really held this match together, but surprisingly enough, Kay, BB Hulk was excellent in this match. He pulled out a lot of moves and a lot of speed flashes of his old pre-broken neck self. My favorite spot was near the end where he pulled out a suplex destroyer.
Oh, I popped so hard for that spot. I was like, oh my god, BB Hulk's so fucking cool. Listen, BB Hulk's great. I thought the team of the Mochizuki Yoshida team played off very well. They played to each other's strengths and balanced out each other's weaknesses so well that I didn't even really remember that they were both kind of iffy at points. And they're like, I thought that the power from Yoshida, Mochizuki kind of bringing in, reining it in, and kind of doing the saves whenever Yoshida got in trouble. I liked a lot of that. And BB Hulk was, God, BB Hulk's so good. So good! And Kai being a shitty douchebag was great, and doing his stuff. Listen, this match ruled. I loved this match.
Well, I'm
okay with them losing the belts. I'm okay with them losing the belts. I think I'm of the idea that I don't think these belts were going to originally be on Kai and Hulk. I thought they were going to stay. Well, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Jason Lee would have lost it, but I didn't think they were going to lose it to Kai and Hulk. I thought they would have lost it to somebody else. I think because of the situation, Kai and Hulk got it. They kind of used it to pivot into the Yamato story a little bit. And them losing the belts here is fine. They don't need those for the Yamato story. The Yamato story is kind of such a personal thing now. The belts don't even really need it to be a good match or a good feud. But then putting it on Senpai, Team Senpai, going to Senpai worked. Who knew?
It did indeed work. I can't say I'm thrilled with old Cyber Kong here in 2021 as a Twin Gate champion. I think the tag belts are definitely above him at this point in his career. We'll see what they do with the tag titles going forward. I hope they lose them sooner than later. Maybe get a defense in or two to kind of maybe another veteran team who's to say, and then they can eventually do a storyline and put one of the younger teams over. What is interesting is Bokunemo Dragon K is in a mask versus mask match against Diamante. They pulled that out on the show, so we'll see what happens there as they're building to that match.
Also, fucking Doi left. No longer a member of Team Boku. Team Boku's breaking apart, man. I don't think I can handle this emotional strain.
Well, he did show up, and he's making his big return. I believe it's either on today's show or he's coming up on the next show.
Is he hurt?
He was hurt. Remember? Yeah, he had elbow damage.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Actually, well, I'm actually okay in breaking the joke here. I'm okay with them getting rid of Team Boku. I think it's Shimizu's story is going to play out at a certain pace. I think he'll win at the very least the Brave Gate belt. I'm of that mindset. I think the story is going in that direction.
The Brave Gate belt has a bit of a weight limit, okay, and Shimizu's a bit big for that.
Oh, I think they could ice ribbon that rule. Weight limit my ass. I think he'll win something. Either that or the tag belts.
I guess we'll
There's
find
gonna
out.
be some payoff. There'll be some payoff to this story with him and RED.
And in the main event, open the Dreamgate title, Shun Skywalker taking on Kaito Ishida. 29 minutes, 33 seconds. This match ruled.
Oh, it was so fucking awesome. First off, Ishida's do music. I need that now.
Oh, a lot of the Dragon Gate songs you can get on Spotify.
I have to switch to Japan for it.
I don't think so.
Ooh, I need to find out the name of this song because that song kicked so much ass. I've had it stuck in my head since I watched the match. I love that song. It's better than Kick Boy, and I like Kick Boy, but oh god, that song was so good. This match really was good though. I really liked it. Shun Skywalker. Oh, is that an ace or what? That's an ace.
Yeah, between him and Benkei coming off of this Ishida worked the knee, ankle, and calf muscle the entire time. Took away. I mean, the whole strat was obvious. There was no reinventing the wheel in this match. Go after the leg of the high flyer, work it, and Shun Skywalker every once in a while would have a burst of energy and constantly sell that fucking leg. And the only time he went to the air to the outside was to take out multiple members of RED. I loved a lot of the near falls, the near submissions. I'm going to say that might be an outrageous comment. Ready for this, Kay?
All right.
Kaito Ishida works in the style that I liked out of my Bret Hart matches. Yes, Kaito Ishida reminds me of Bret Hart.
Oh, I get that, actually. Now that you say that, I put that together. I'm never really big on submission-only wrestlers, but Kaito Ishida does... The matches I've seen of him, the big singles matches, he does such a spin on it that it doesn't feel like it's a crutch for his move style. We saw it against in the Okada match. He can go to kicky, strikey, kick the crap out of each other. Adding that fold of submissions kind of gives him... Kind of like Shuri over in Stardom. It gives him, like, two kinds of styles he can mix into a match so it doesn't get boring or old. I like this match a lot, and it's my favorite kind of match story. It's the babyface is getting a limb worked, so most of the match they're spent selling. They get bursts of energy, and then after a while, those bursts of energy end up getting them back in momentum, and they win. I love those stories. That was pretty much the entirety of Momo's title run with the white belt, for the most part, when they were doing the whole knee storyline for the first half of that run. I love this kind of story. It works so well. It's a tried and true formula that never fails.
I'm not going to lie. I think I like this more than a lot of the matches that we saw at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. I think it could be because it's been so long, or it feels like it's been so long since I've watched Wrestle Kingdom. Really, the only match I remember liking on there was Ospreay and Okada. I remember really liking that match. The other two main events, I was like, they were good, but they didn't hit me like Okada and Ospreay, and that could have just been the Rainmaker spot. Really, they got me to like that match.
Well, I mean, it did its job, but yeah, from start to finish, this match just clicked with me so well. It didn't reinvent the wheel. Excellent match. I gave it an easy 4.5. Easy 3-star full recommendation. Great stuff.
Oh, and 5. I enjoyed this match a lot.
Man, you give out 5 stars easily.
Listen, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Stories in matches bump things up pretty high for me, especially if it's a good story. And the story in this match, like I said, is my favorite kind of match structure story. You know, because it works every time for me. It always hits with me. Even if I know this is the story they're going for, I know the outcome. It always hits well with me. Like I said, this was the first half of Momo's white belt run when they were kind of playing off of her knee injury that she had come back from, and she kept having to do that. The Jamie Hayter match, that was exactly what this was. Jamie Hayter worked on the knee so much that Momo had to hobble and get big bursts of moves, and eventually she won after that. So I like that. It was a good strategy, a good match, and like I said, Shun Skywalker, that's an ace right there. Jesus Christ, that key's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved... I mean, obviously, I think the best spot in the match was the moonsault, and Ishida kicks out of it. Devastating, got a huge pop out of the crowd. They definitely broke the no audible rule on that one. And Shun ends up...
This in the tag match.
Yeah.
In the tag match, they broke that rule a lot.
They broke it a number of times on the show, so it was definitely a success of a show. Champion Gate Night 2 was very good. Shun does win with the Star Crush Destroyer, or whatever it's called, the spinning Michinoku half fisherman driver. You get the idea. Just kills the dude, and post-match, of all people to challenge for the Dream Gate, former WWE superstar Kazuma Sakamoto. I am all about this. This is great. A new, fresh challenger. This dude has completely reinvented himself and earned going up the card and this opportunity to go for the Dream Gate title. It's a fresh new challenger at the top. I don't think he's going to win. I think over the build, they could possibly get me to buy into it a little bit more. And I'm so curious to what Sakamoto is going to bring in a big singles match like we're going to see here against a guy like Shun Skywalker.
I don't even think I don't buy into the idea that the challenger has to be believable to win a match for it to be a good match or a good story. I think when you look at it that way, a lot of matches end up sucking if that's your mindset, because there's a lot of matches where you're like, it's a good match, but you definitely know the person's not winning, especially if you know the back booking and everything.
Yeah, it's when you start only looking at it in the light of booking, then you're removing yourself from the story immersion of why you watch wrestling in the first place. That's a dangerous path to go down to, because then unless it's a big show, and only a big show with two equal challengers, then I think you're taking a good, decent part of your fandom away from enjoying the wrestling presented in front of you and going along for the ride. It's a dangerous path to go down, and I would be mistaken if I haven't fallen into that trap a number of times myself.
Can't say I have. I think I always try to be mindful that the match comes first. Why spoilers never bother me, right? Because even if I know the match results, the match has to hold up on its own despite the results. If the match doesn't hold up on its own despite the results, and it was never a good match to begin with, because a good match, you should be able to rewatch it and still like it.
I don't disagree with that. At all. So that was Dragon Gate. I'm very excited. They're finally kicking off to the more important things of the year. Maybe the undercard and mid-card, they're still going a little bit too house show style-y slow. Not quite what I want in my wrestling, so maybe as the year goes on, they'll start picking it up.
I'm so happy we could talk about Dragon Gate again. This is my favorite men's promotion. I think it's the only one I really give a whole lot of about. Like, this shit is right up my alley, man. Storylines, stories do it for me, man, every time.
All right. Let's play the DDT music, and we can move on. Not a whole lot to talk about DDT, but here we go nonetheless. I'll kind of stall until I get my eruption drop. Here we go. All right, so basically DDT is in an in-between phase. Yet again, they're building towards their March 28th show, main evented by Jun Akiyama defending the KOD title against our boy Kazusada Higuchi. Very much looking forward to that. And Ueno defending the Universal title against Yusuke Okada. So that match should slap. Very much looking forward to that card in general. I'm sure there'll be other things announced, or there has been other things announced that I'm just not aware of yet. But the big news is All Out, the faction that's been around for a good chunk of 4 years. They have disbanded, and in celebration of their disbandment, they had one last show dedicated to All Out themselves, and their in the mid-card was against the big faction, Damnation, Endo and Company. The first match on the show was Yuji Hino taking on Aino again. Ino. God, I'm sorry. I definitely not Yuki Aino. Definitely not her. That would be
no.
That would be a strange match.
That would be an interesting match.
I don't know how that'd work out for Aino, but Yuki Ino and Yuji Hino, they slap meet again one more time. Little on the too goofy side. I did like how it began though, where Ino did his little rev up chant and met him on the apron of Shinkiba. It's so wacky, and Hino's like, what is going on? And as he's yelling at him, he just yells back, and then they slap some meat some more, and Hino wins yet again.
It was fun. It was a fun match. It wouldn't be something I probably remember in a couple months, but it was a fun match for what it was.
Yeah, second time they've met. It's goofy, it's fun. And the rest of the card was what it was. Let's just skip to the main event here. The All Out versus All Out tag match. Shunma and Yuki Ino together taking on Akito and Takeshita. This went 29 minutes, K. And, the first, I would say, half of it was a little too slow for our liking. But once they hit that 18-minute mark, no, I'll even go a little bit before that, the 16-minute mark, they went all out, if you will. They were determined to get this dead Shinkiba crowd of 96 people into their match the best they could under the circumstances. And I thought they delivered, making the ending feel quite epic. There was good table spots. There was a lot of good spots in the match. And I was very satisfied with Shunma picking up the win over Akito. Look, I always looked at Shunma as kind of this goofy comedy undercard character that I'd be lucky to get hardcore Yano laughs out of. I'm telling you, I'm going to say something here. 2021, Shunma Katsumata is one of my favorite dudes in DDT, and I look forward to his matches time in and time out. This dude has delivered so much this year, and I'm so happy he got the win here. I'm really following his journey, and I hope he continues to move up the card the way he is. Maybe a tag title match down the line. Maybe his Extreme title, he really turns into his own pride and joy. I don't think he's KOD level, at least not even close at this juncture in time. But maybe a Universal title challenge here. Maybe some more good Extreme title defenses. He's definitely got his comedy character down, and I think he's really getting his singles match character down as a more serious character. He just has this charm to him that's really starting to click with the crowd, and I think you can tell with the vibe that the crowd is giving off from him.
Yeah, I think this match on its own, it started off so, it was slow. This crowd was so painfully dead. I think we were questioning if there was even a crowd at one point. And I'll say two things. One, 96 people, big concern that's all they could draw in Shinkiba at this point. I know there's restrictions, but Shinkiba's restrictions at this point are 200 almost. I think they're upper.
Uh-oh. Okay, you there?
Diana.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, did I disappear?
You disappeared there for a second. I was like, uh-oh, mid-sentence.
No.
I can't confirm if they're allowed any more than 50% of the of what it can hold. But 96 people would be half,
Well, no, Shinkiba is the max is 300 something. So 96 wouldn't even be half. I think.
Oh, I thought it was 200. Okay.
No. If I'm looking at Stardom's numbers, I think the max is 100 and change, 120 almost. They couldn't even hit that. I don't.
They seem to have a lot more production involved.
Right. So I guess that might have done things. It's just, well, first off, DDT hasn't been posting their numbers, which has kind of also been the concern a little bit. They haven't throughout 2020. They didn't. This year,
no. They just started posting it again, pretty recently.
Right. Because I remember seeing a bit of a worrying stat that DDT was not doing good in attendance, but TJPW, despite its attendance decline because of COVID, was up higher in merch because you have more fans wanting to support them to make up for the loss. So I'm really hoping things are okay over there. But I guess this is not the time to really talk about some of that. The match was fine. It picked up at the end there, which was fine. I don't know if this match hit me the same way. I don't know if I'm a big fan of most of the people in the match. They just don't hit me the same way. I guess they hit you. I like more of the Eita and I'm sorry, Endo, not Eita. Endo. Getting my guys mixed up. Endo and the Gooch. I'm a big fan of the Gooch, Higuchi. So those are my two people.
Okay. I guess we're just gearing up at this point. All Out is no more for the show at the end of the month. Got a number of promotions doing that. Not much else on DDT, so I will play. Oh, okay. Hold on. I have some Stardom music. Let me just look at my list here. I know I made some more. Let's see. I got Shuri. I got. I think I had that last time though. I got Momo. I don't think I need to go any further, do I?
Yeah, to fucking play it.
Play that Momo music. Oh, you're going to listen back to this episode, Kay, and be so happy I got that music for you.
Oh, you do, listen, you do me so well, man. I love Momo. Big Momo fan. Don't know if anyone knows that. I'm a big Momo fan. Look at my Twitter, you'll see.
Yeah, you know, Kay, let's talk about Momo. She's been taking some L's lately. A lot lately, right. Actually, since the Utami title belt loss, since the Shuri loss. She took the L to the old guard. I'm sure that made you gleefully happy.
I mean, go listen to the first half of this episode and you'll know how happy I felt.
Yeah, part 1. And then news came out that she's lost to the next red belt challenger, B. Priestley. And I'll tell you why I think this is okay.
Are you gonna do it? Because I could do it too. I have plenty of reasons, story reasons even.
Well, okay. Let me speak, and we'll see how much it lines up, because we haven't talked about this together yet. So I'm quite interested. Momo is in the midst of the story of kind of redeeming herself, right? It's very reminiscent to me of the Naito character, right? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride situation. And with a lot of her faction members in Queen's Quest, more or less rising up to bigger and higher opportunities, Momo is in a rut. And just like any sports athlete, they hit rock bottom sometimes, right? You're not pitching on the mound. You're not topping your 98 mile an hour fastball. You're only getting like 94. Guys are knocking it out of the park. You gotta find your next muse. You gotta find your next gear. Maybe you're not knocking down the 3-pointers, so you have to drive to the hoop more. Maybe your right wing slap shot isn't what it used to be, and you gotta find a new maneuver with the puck. Right? You get what I'm saying? You like these sports references I'm throwing your way, Kay?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're putting down.
Okay, all right. So hear me out. Now, the booking-wise, this makes total sense to me. And this was a big problem I had with the Saitani challenge of the red belt. Look, B. Priestley is a former champion, right? And I thought she came across as a strong champion. Match quality aside or not, I thought she made a point. She's the Gaijin star. She's your foreign star. She's in the Medusa role, if you will, to make a past reference. We're not going to pretend Medusa was the best wrestler in the world, but she was over, and she had a degree of star power to her. And I'm not saying B. Priestley is the same level of star, but she does have a level of quality to her that's worth pushing to an extent, especially to a Japanese fan base. I don't think that's an outrageous statement to make, whether Western fans like her or not. I don't think that's the issue here. B. Priestley's been. Yeah, I'm not done. Hold on, Kay. Hold on. So B. Priestley here, she's been out of the title picture since she lost it, and she's been protected to a degree. So there's this tag match that happened, and she pins Momo, and she's already pinned Utami. She's looking like a killer. She's looking like she could potentially take this title off of Utami. Utami's never beaten her. There's a lot of good story elements happening here. And it plays into the Momo Path of Redemption story. Whether that's this year it plays out or even next year, who knows? I'm more than willing to wait, because there's a lot of people that Stardom is trying to give credibility to. And they're kind of at this rotation, if you will. I find it super interesting and intriguing going forward. And I love Momo just like the next person. I think she's one of the top 3 people in the company. But if Stardom is going to draw these big houses as ambitious as they are going forward from the business sense, getting B. Priestley over as the big Gaijin threat, getting people like Micah and Saitani over to a next level to be credible challengers to an extent of any belt going forward, Momo's going to have to take some L's. They got Shuri over, and who was there? It was Momo. She has a lot of credibility to a lot of the Stardom fan base because she's been around a long time. I'm still of the mind that she is a made woman on this roster, and they could heat her up at any moment. I'm looking this at from the Dragon Gate sense. Okay, Kay? Ben K's taken some L's for quite some time, but he's already a former Dream Gate champion that beat up a lot of veterans, and he's been on ice for quite some time. Have I given up on Ben K? Absolutely not. This dude can take L's for a long time, and he's going to be protected to a degree and get put in tag title match situations. And I think Momo is in the Ben K role right now. And I think that's okay. It gets other people chances to shine and get over. And I'm excited at the prospect of whom is going to rise into those roles as we wait for Momo to get heat up at the right time. And that doesn't mean she has to win any matches in the future, mind you. But man, are we going to pop when she does win that big one. There you go.
All right, can I? All right. Well, first thing I wanted to say that I was going to interrupt by accident on is I think B. Priestley's a better worker than Medusa, so there's your hot take for the episode.
I don't think that's a hot take, Kay.
I think some people might think
Medusa
it's a hot
had
take,
such a problem hitting a German suplex. Let's not pretend.
She did. But so I'm glad you tackled it from the booking standpoint, like the outside of the story booking. I'm gonna go for the Momo story. So
go for it.
I look at it this way: Momo has inherited the worst parts of the Queen's Quest motto Io Shirai era. Arrogance, the looking down on your opponent, and the hyper focus on being the top number one. This entire time, that's been her thing, right? Since she's joined Queen's Quest, she's looked down on her opponent. She looked down on Mayu when Mayu was higher on the card than her. There's that famous line of her saying, if because Mayu had to drop out of a high-speed title match because she was sick, I'll get better and come back and so I can kill you already. And there's so many examples of shit heel Momo looking down on people. Just go look at any of the Kiona matches, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Momo's entire white belt run was her. As the white belt run went on, she got more and more cocky, more and more arrogant, looking down on anyone and everyone, to the point where if you look at her last 3 defenses before she lost it to her, including the Arisa match. Pam, you suck. You're no good. I've beaten you already. You're dirt to me. Kiona, you suck. Kiona, you're just a big loser. You suck. You can't even be in my shadow. Hey, Andres, your stupid power driver didn't even finish me. Ha, your finisher sucks. I'm better than you. Arisa, your kicks, they suck. They tickle me. My kicks are way better. And then what happens? She gets caught. She gets caught finally. Her arrogance is her undoing. So Arisa, that's why I like this finish so much now. The Arisa match. Arisa doesn't kick out of the Peach Sunrise. She simply rolls her foot to the top rope and gets the work break. Momo is incensed. She loses her mind. How dare you leave cut out of my finisher? How dare you? You're beneath me. And as in her rage, she gets freaking hit twice with the knees in the face, and then gets two different Brazilian kicks to the head, and then gets finished. And since then, what have we seen Momo do? I'm going to the red belt now. I'll challenge B. Priestley before I'm ready. I lost to B. Priestley. Well, I'm gonna win the 5-star. Oh, I didn't win the 5-star. Well, I'm going to challenge you, Mayu. I'm gonna win that belt. I've beaten you already last year. I'll beat you surely this year. If you look at how her opponents have talked about her, B propped her up. Back when B wasn't part of Queen's Quest. When she beat her, Momo, you're strong. You're very strong. You'll take this belt one day. Mayu, Momo, you're strong. You're one of the strongest on the roster. You'll take this belt someday. I believe in it. Tommy even said, man, Momo, you hit real hard. It took for everything I had to beat you. It's not Momo's skill. It's Momo's mindset. Since she lost the white belt, she's been so determined, focused to get to the top that she's blinded from everything around her. And as a result, she's still looking down on her opponents. She's just seeing the goal. She's not seeing what's in front of her. So she loses the beat for the SWA belt. She loses the Sherry for the SWA belt. Right? Part of the Sherry storyline was Sherry trying to wake her the fuck up. Hey, where's Murder Momo at? Where's that drive? All I'm saying is a cocky, arrogant fool who can't win. Where's the murder at? I think... Now, I hate the finish to the Nai match. But I think one of the stories they're telling with that, if you look at her facial expression going into the match and going out of the match, is Momo is getting more and more pissed. More and more angry. And she's getting mad at not just her opponent, but herself. Not being able to beat. Go look at her Twitter posts. Each one of her Twitter posts is, I couldn't get it done. I'm a failure. I couldn't get it done. This story isn't going to play out next year. It might play out the year after next year. This is the story they're going to tell. And Rossi's known for these long booking stories. Remember just 2 years ago? Hey, remember Tam was never going to win a singles belt ever. She's just the idol wrestler.
He did say that, right?
I said that. So many people said that. So many other people were echoing the same thing. Hell, just 2019. Oh, she lost to Risa. Oh, the story makes sense for her to win it, but surely she won't win it. She's Tam Nakano. Come on, she's the idol cute wrestler. She's the grab your idol wrestler. She's not going to win the belt. She's Tam. She's not a believable white belt wrestler. Now look at it. I think the only time that story wouldn't apply is Kiona, but I think Kiona fits a certain role for the company, and I don't think Momo's in that same role. I think those who think
I don't
that
think
are
so either. Yeah.
Those people who think that are misguided or misgiven. They just don't understand. That's not how Momo's been booked. I think Momo will get her red belt run. She will. And if you don't believe in her, if you've given up on her, then I just say you're not a fan of her. Then you're not a real fan.
Maybe a little too far. I think there's a small contingent out there that has given up on her, and I say you.
Those what I'm talking about.
I say it's too soon. I say it's too soon.
Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who are frustrated with the booking. Be patient. The people that will wait are fine. It's the ones that have just completely dropped her, or given up on her, or given up on any chance of her getting anything. It's like you're not. If you think that, then you're not enough of a fan of her. You don't know the story being told, and you don't believe in her.
Let me ask you this. A few years ago, Naito lost to Okada at the Dome. It was in 2018. Okay?
Right.
The story being told, at its peak, a huge fan base thought Naito should have won that match. Maybe he should have. Maybe they made the right call, and it led to the end of the generation Wrestle Kingdom match where Naito finally did win the, at that time, dual belts, the 2 titles, to cap off the Naito story. Okay?
Right.
If Naito would have won that match, then we wouldn't have gotten the massive Okada run. So there is a give and take to kind of the what-if scenario. Momo Watanabe goes on this path of redemption, Naito style. And let's not pretend. A lot of fans gave up on Naito. You know who didn't give up on Naito? The LIJ contingent, right? The massive Naito fans always believed because he was protected. He was always a top 4 in the company, and he was presented as much. I still get that feeling from Momo Watanabe in Stardom. She is a top 4 in the company. And just because she's not getting pushed right now, last year, this year, she's still up there. And she's still extremely important to the stories being told in the company. And I'm going to continue looking at her like Naito, unlike I look at Jungle Kiona like Hiroki Goto.
Right, because Kiona's booking has always put her in a certain slot. She's never had that
it's
story.
Always been that way.
She's never had the story to get her to the belt. It's always been, she's just the challenger. She's just the challenger person. Momo's never been that. Just go look at how she won the white belt. She played contrast to Hazuki's story at that time, right? Hazuki, arrogant, full of herself, was laxed, and Momo and Io ridiculed her for it. What are you? You think you've already done all that you could do to be at the top? Get back down there then. Hey, this fucking Io Shirai burying Hazuki because Hazuki's story was that now Hazuki's story would have played out eventually, I think, if she had stayed. Hazuki's story was she was too lazy. She thought she didn't need to prove anything, and then Io buried her. She not only hit her moonsault, which she could have pinned her, she hit her moonsault, flipped it over, and put her in a freaking Boston Crab rookie killer and made her tap. extra added in. With Momo beat the piss out of Io in that match. And Io said, "Hey Momo, you almost got there." What did Momo do? Win Cinderella. Hey, I want another match. I was so close. And what did Momo do? She won.
There you go.
Like, the story with Momo has always been wait. I mean, for Christ's sake, if you thought that you didn't want to wait, if people were fans of 2016 when she joined Queen's Quest, got paid off when she won the white belt. Now, granted, I came in a bit later. There was always payoff there. Fans of Utami now have payoff. Every story is going to have a payoff.
Right. The Utami story from day one was she was going to be the champion. And it took 2 years for that to pay off.
Let's not forget Mayu Iwatani also had to bring herself back.
6 years?
Right. Like, and when she finally won it, she got hurt. When she came back, guess what? She was a mid-carder. She was the exact spot that Momo's in now. She was protected to an extent where she was still seen as top in the company, but she took L's. She took L's to Kagetsu, took L's to Momo, took L's to Utami in the 5-star, if I remember correctly. She took L's when it was needed, but she didn't take so many to where she wasn't still credible. She was still positioned as one of the top in the company.
Yeah. I think because I think there's a lot of perspective because a lot of fans, I feel like a lot of fans look at one company with the booking of another. And that's a dangerous path to go on because I think you're corrupting your fandom at that point. It's almost like WWE fans looking at AEW and saying people are buried when they lose a match. No, that's not how it works in AEW, right? That's like looking at Stardom with the booking of Impact. Like, don't be foolish. I know that's an outrageous kind of comparison, but the point is, don't look at a company through the booking of another company's eyes. You got to get into their world, their mindset, their patterns. So, let's talk about fucking Giulia, all right?
Oh my god, have you seen Giulia's new look?
Have you seen Giulia?
I've seen the Giulia. She looks like a fucking badass. Oh my god, I have not switched. Like, I was already kind of on board with her now that she's done this turn, but Jesus, you talk about somebody who goes bald and somehow is cooler than she was when she had hair.
Dude, what did we say before the match happened? She is going to come out of this over. More over than she had been, and Tam is over too.
I think she's more over than Tam, and she's like, I think the whole point of her saying, listen, I'm not challenging for a belt right now. I want to start from the bottom because I lost everything. I think that's great because I think everyone's just assuming she's going to take the belt off Utami. I don't think so. I don't think she is. I think Utami's going to lose it to somebody else before we get that Giulia run. I don't think it's going to happen so soon.
Think Giulia wants to get the white belt back first?
I think Giulia's going to go through this entire road back to the top. And I think it's going to... I mean, she started her first match back against freaking Gokugen Death in the opening match.
Good.
She's been in like multi-person matches now. She's not being highlighted at the moment. She needs to get back up. That's what happens when you lose your hair. You need to build yourself back up. And I think Utami loses the belt before she gets to the top. Back up there.
Interesting.
I think it's going to happen because I don't think Utami's run is going to be for the rest of this year. I think she's going to lose the belt at some point. It could be to B. It could be to B. I don't think it'll be to B, but I think it could be. I think she's going to lose it to Shuri.
Shuri is my pick for the Cinderella.
Right. I still think Shuri's taking the belt off of Utami.
I'd be very much for that. I'm not totally convinced Utami doesn't hold this thing all year. You know what? I'll rescind that. I think Utami loses it at Summer Dream Cinderella, or whatever, Summer Beach Bat. I don't know, whatever they want to call that show this summer.
Right. I think she loses it before 5-star.
Yes, that's what I'm going with. Look, we said that the person that loses the hair match always comes out looking stronger. It happened to Chigusa. It happened to Manami Toyota. It happened to the Giulia because the check said so.
Correction. Manami didn't lose her hair in that match. Yamada did.
Oh, was Yamada? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Foolish me.
Yeah. Because the whole thing was Manami was crying because she didn't want to.
Look, man, I had a flip in my head. I apologize.
You're good. I just wanted to make sure we got that one corrected in case anybody said anything.
I apologize. So the Giulia, because that's what the check said.
It did.
So until she gets her hair back, she will be referred to as Giulia.
She will be. Badass Giulia, nonetheless. Listen, camo pants, She was wearing combat boots.
Dude, she's Ripley from Alien.
She's fucking Ripley. Oh, she's G.I. Jane. She is so fucking cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. And get this,
Sarah Connor. She's Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor's another good one. Terminator. I like that. She's an 80s badass chick. It's awesome. Get this. Been kind of the talk of the Twitter. Emi Sakura called her out.
They're making a match of that. I think it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Emi's doing the job. Listen, Emi's more than happy to do jobs, unlike the rest of the old card.
Oh man, that was a big contingent on online today with the Western audience that we're able to see. And dude, I am if this is the path they're going on, this is, until I'm convinced otherwise, it's a work. Right? Oh, don't forget, it's wrestling, and it's Emi Sakura on top of it all. She is all about the work. She called her out saying she disrespected, why does she look so cool? Bullshit. Plays into Emi Sakura's hair match from years ago, right?
Right. Well, I don't think Emi has a right to complain because she came out of that match looking pretty cool herself.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. So Giulia called her out, saying "old guard this." It's like, aw, damn, Giulia playing the fiddle again, right? And Emi Sakura's here, and she showed up with her whole contingent of the Gato crew, the Chaco crew,
Chaco crew
in that rumble. She's flipping the hair to Lady C. What a perfect person for Giulia to tackle on her way back up the card. Because if this match is going to happen, Emi's eating that pin, and she's going to eat it with pride to put over the next generation. It's what she does. And she's never been afraid to do that.
Hey, here's the funny part. She's never lost credibility. Hey, take that check denied, Meiko Satomura. She's lost how many? She's lost to so many. Not so many. She hasn't lost to a ton of people, but she's lost to people to put them over. She lost to a child.
Just to put someone over. Look, she lost. Look, man, she lost to Yuka. She lost to Mei Saruga. And that's just this year. She lost to Riho countless times, right?
And Tsukasa. She lost to freaking Sakoshi.
Yeah, she makes sure anyone she loses to, she makes sure to put them in a position where they're going to succeed and be a star. And Giulia is on her way back up the card coming out of this hair match. If this match with Emi Sakura happens, I am all about it. I can't wait.
No, I'm down. I'm down for it too. I'll
people are getting worked and they're getting played like a fiddle, just like when the hair versus hair match was first announced. Oh, it's archaic. They don't need this. And it's almost like they can't admit to themselves how great that match was.
Oh, I think the archaic ones were the Japanese fans who thought it wasn't of this era. Now that's argument.
Yeah, watch that be match of the year come Tokyo Sports Awards.
What's funny,
at least for the women, or the Shoe Pro will probably Stardom match.
Right.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, but the funny part is the people that were making an argument saying that no hair matches happened in this era forgot that the seedling one happened in this era.
Really funny.
Hilarious, because that match got so much buzz on the Western side, but not a damn person in Japan gave a fuck about that. She goes to show you the pull seedling has with their 400 fans. Listen, I'll add an addendum to my Giulia won't win the red belt this year. I think she'll challenge for it and lose this year. That'll continue to build her story. I don't think she wins in the first attempt.
We have breaking news.
Oh?
You see this thing Sigma posted, GIF-wise, in the Discord?
Oh. I'm ignoring that.
It is a picture of Nene from like 2008 or some shit, and he put Dyer in front of her.
I'm ignoring Nanai.
Brilliant.
I can't put people over Takahashi.
Brilliant.
On that note, I saw an interesting argument on that. Just a brief side addendum here. Just because you have a match with a legend doesn't mean you're over.
Right.
The win or lose, that doesn't mean jack shit if you've done that so many times with other people. Listen, that only works with rookies and Aja Kong. That's because they're rookies. If Aja beat Yoshiko, then she's just beaten Yoshiko, and Yoshiko doesn't look as credible anymore because she didn't put Yoshiko over. It's a bad result, and that's not the result we got, because Aja Kong don't do that. Now Takahashi does that, though. Her losing in a tag match, and a random roll-up at that, like it wasn't even like a convincing finish. And then she wins the tag belts like a couple weeks later. Come on now. No, she didn't put nobody over. She doesn't put people over. Nai does not put people over.
Right, it's the Kevin Nash theory. We just saw it on Nitro. It's the same deal. So, while we're on the subject, Yoshiko going away from injury for a while. I'm kind of worried it's more than just an injury, but she vacated the title in the seed ring. The major issue here is, at least from their booking perspective, they're putting Veni and Rina Yamashita in a title match. You see the big problem here with this?
Yeah, because neither of them are part of the company, and I can guarantee you, Veni having the exposure she has recently because of AEW, if she wins, it's only to feed Nanai.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. My bigger issue is these two should be way more over and presented as main eventers, which they're not in that promotion.
Yeah, Rina's hardly ever there. And Asuka's always just in the mid-card doing tag matches that have no progression.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's two freelancers just filling a gap. And that's a shame. Right. It's a shame. It's a larger story, and let's not pretend Seed is the only promotion that's guilty of this.
But they're not.
Yeah. So
they're just the worst example right now.
Is there any other Stardom talk we want to do before we speed this up a bit?
So the Queen's Quest team of Momo, Azumi, and Saya are facing Dream, Cyber. God, I'm just getting names mixed up. Tam, Mike, Mina, and Unagi.
Cosmic Angels, buddy.
Cosmic Angels. God, I was about to call them Cyber Angels.
Cyber Angels.
I don't know why, but Cyber Angels popped in my brain. I don't even know if that's from right now. But no, it's that's gonna be the next Korakuen show. So that's gonna be the next main event. So that's really it. I mean, aside from me saying that Arisa Nakajima putting her over in a hair match doesn't do shit because Arisa was already over to begin with. Former JWP champion.
Right.
You didn't have to she didn't make a new star there. There was already a star there.
All right. Let's move on to Tokyo Joshi Pro, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm looking through. I made all these new drops like a week or so ago. So I'm trying to see what. Did I make any new TJPW ones? Is the question.
Did you make one for my girl Raku?
You kidding me? Get out of here.
Sounds like somebody here doesn't like Raku.
I did. I made a Miyu Yamashita drop. Here it is.
Play that shit.
There it is. It's too fucking cool.
She's too fucking cool.
All right. Okay, well, you want here, I'm going to screenshot my little note here about what to talk about, or at least what to tackle over TJPW. I have no notes over Ice Ribbon. A little there is just one show, but here's my TJPW ones. Those are the topics. You want to take this away?
Sure. So we had the Max Tournament Finals, which was Neo Bushiki-gun, that being May Saint Michelle and Saki-sama, versus Team 1 Million, or as I still want to refer to them as Team Pop Epic, because that was a better name, of Miyu Yamashita and Maki Ito. The match itself was pretty good. I thought it was okay. I'm not the biggest Saki-sama fan. Like, she's great in DDT, but she's not good. I don't think as good in DDT in TJPW. Her shtick kind of runs old pretty quick. They did win. The thing I feared, the thing that I said that I thought they were gonna do to lay on the crutch, and I was hoping they wouldn't do, they did. Shiki-kun beats Miyu and Ito. They are going to face the Bakuratsu sisters for the tag belts. I don't know what the data on that is gonna be. I'm gonna be real with you, JD. I did not like this move at all. I'm not a fan of them going back to the Bishikigun well. Every time they come back, they seem to always go for the tag belts and win the tag belts, and the run is always pretty mediocre. Right? The Azusa Christie one was fine because that was still pretty early in the belt. The Misao run was god awful. Like, it just was boring. I got why Misao changed characters back to her normal self, because she was boring. Her wrestling was great, but her character was just so stiff and boring. And here they are again, once again challenging for the tag belts. Am I off base thinking that the tag belts have been strong, much stronger than they've ever been, and that going back to the safe well is a bad move?
Going back to what's safe isn't a bad move, but it's definitely a non-inspiring move. It's like a Honda Accord. You know, it's very reliable, but you're not going to turn heads, right? And when you go back to this Bishikigun move over and over again, I can't say I'm too excited about it. I mean, when we were looking at the Final Four here, look, the Space Ranger and Hikari match against Bishikigun, it was a little too slow, some funny moments, and I thought the show overall, I really think TJPW has reached a high enough level in ring where they don't have to rely on the comedy as much. So when you're in the semifinals and finals to a tournament, I feel like you got to tone back the comedy a little bit more. Or at least you can start out matches with a little comedy. If that's your style in the promotion, that's fine. But from start to finish, you lose me a little bit. That's just my opinion on the matter. Space Ranger and Hikari put on a good showing. They did lose in the end. And then Once a Million, they defeated Shoko and Misao. I thought that was absolutely the right move, especially considering we've seen kind of those combos and matches before going for the tag belts. But again, it suffered from that same problem. A little too slow, too much comedy from bell to bell. I really think, especially with Maki and Yamashita, just they're so much better than that, right? And they feel like they have a connection with the crowd with their tandem, and it's the new hot thing. And if they were just gonna lose in the end, I think they should have lost this match, and they just go back to Shoko Misao for the finals. You know, play into they're just not good in tournaments and despair, if you will. Maybe the despair played into losing in the finals a little bit more, but why did it have to be Bishikigun then? Give it to the underdogs. I'm not thrilled with the Bishikigun win either. And even in the main event, little too slow. Mei versus Miyu, I thought, actually Mei in general versus Miyu and Maki were easily the best part. There were some good moments in the match, but the match the whole show didn't quite capture me as I was wanting it to, or even hoping to. I'm definitely worried that Neo Bishikigun is going to take these tag titles from the Bakuratsu sisters, and TJPW has been hitting in all cylinders with the titles lately, with the international title, the pop title, putting over, making new stars, making new upper mid carders, new main eventers, making things fresh. I can understand the mindset and why they want to make a move like this with Bishikigun. It's to them, and I think maybe to a degree of the audience that's in TJPW sees May Saint Michel as a new character and brings new life to the group. So maybe it's not the worst move in the world, but to me, it's an uninspiring move.
Right.
I won't hate on it to the degree I would other promotions, but yeah, I'm not excited about the prospect of it all.
No. I think TJPW, one of the reasons why they've been hitting on all cylinders so well is because they've been breaking away from their safe formulas. They've been breaking away from them safe formulas to the point where it's exciting to watch, right? Like, we're not getting the, albeit very good, Miyu Yamashita kind of samey reign where she's like, of course she's winning, she's on top, but we're not getting that. Right? Even Yuka's reign was kind of going to, if it went on any longer than it did, I think it was going to start feeling that way. But
people were wanting Yuka to lose that title every defense.
Oh, right. People wanted to lose to Mizuki. I think I was one of those people that wanted her to lose to Mizuki because I felt like they needed to pivot. And what they do at the right moment, they pivot the belt to somebody that I don't think most people were even expecting. I know me and you predicted that, but I saw a lot of people didn't think Rika Tatsumi was going to win. And as a result, when a new star was risen up. These tag belts have been the strongest belts outside of the pop belt since Yuka and Mizuki had it, the Pop Sugar Rabbits. They made these belts the must-defend belts. And then Daydream, Miyu and Rika made these belts matter so much. High-level matches, tons of defenses, holding them for a long time. Black Ops Sisters were actually doing pretty good with the belts. Their matches weren't reaching the same level as the prior two, but they weren't bad matches, and they felt like a good team, a good tandem together. The belts looked like they were going to continue this trajectory. And then we get Bishiki-kun. Like, I get Michelle's over with the fans.
Who knocked Bakuratsu Sisters out of the tournament?
I think it was Shoko and Masao.
Interesting.
I could be completely wrong. I don't remember that part of the tournament as well.
As you continue on, let me look this up.
But my problem is like you said, the matches were slow and funny, right? That's what you're gonna get now if Bishiki wins, because Saki Akai in DDT works a certain way. Saki-sama in TJPW works a completely different kind of way. Like, the moveset's kind of the same, but the character changes how she approaches the ring. And Saki-sama is boring.
It was Misao and Shoko.
Okay.
Could we see Bakuratsu Sisters defeat Bigun, and then Misao and Shoko are the next challengers?
I've seen that too much. They've done that twice already. I don't want that. No. Please don't do that anymore. They've done that match twice already. If you were going to have them win the belts, why didn't you do it earlier?
Okay.
I'm not a fan of them going back to that well either. I was excited for Ito and Miyu to win. The stories made sense, right? They both come together. They started the tournament a bit rough, not being able to teamwork as well, right? You have Miyu Yamashita for the first time acknowledging, hey, Ito, you're pretty damn good. The first time she's ever said that to Ito. The story of the two is progressing. Ito's story is progressing. Miyu's story is progressing. As the tournament went on, they gelled and got better. That was the story you go with. You don't go with the same boring Kmart formula of putting Bishiki-kun up at top again. I don't care that Saint Michelle is popular. You could do other things with them other than put them for the tag belts every time they come back. Other stories could have been done, and I'm just so upset that they went with the safe, stupid route, because I think it's a dumb decision. And I think once Bishiki wins, more people are going to see that the same matches are going to be boring. Saint Michelle spots are funny. How many times do we see that plate slide spot before it becomes a little old? The same thing with the Azusa Christie in the Bible, where she would thump him on the head. Right? That was funny, and then it became an old formula that you got tired of seeing because the matches are formulaic, because Saki-sama is boring. Saki Akai is fun because she's a spunky babyface and you buy her as this person in peril at all times whenever she's fighting back. You don't get that with Saki-sama. She's the worst parts of Saki.
I think she's one of the best promos and good. She's a good character. I like her.
She's a good character, but she's a terrible in-ring person. Because what she is,
come on.
Let me finish. What she is she's the offense of Saki Akai. Saki Akai's great when she's using that offense coming from behind. Am I wrong in that?
I suppose tall style has its drawbacks.
Right. So when she's dominant, the entire time, it's boring. That has always been why Saki-sama has never worked. And Saki Akai, despite her at the early goings, her in-ring not being as good, that's why Saki Akai worked and got over with the fans. I'll let you know on a bit of a secret here. Saki-sama not that over with the TJPW audience. It's always her sidekicks that are the over ones. Christy was over. Heel Masao wasn't very over with the fans, which is why that didn't last super long. Michelle is over. Saki-sama is not. Like, people, as a heel character, she's over. As a fan favorite, no, she's never been over because she's boring.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Well, let's talk about a fun show, which was the Kohaku competition, The Battle. It was on March 7th. Akihabara Twin Box. The 11 versus 11 with all-you-can-eat meat on the line.
This is when TJPW was at its strongest. When it is just goofy, wholesome fun. This is why I like watching TJPW sometimes, after watching a bunch of serious promotions. It's a nice wind down to laugh and enjoy a nice show, and this was all about that. 11 versus 11, Team Red versus Team White. Both the rosters were split down the middle, and the matches were 5-minute limits, right? But after 5 minutes, it became 1 count. So within the 5 minutes, you had to get a 2 count to win. After the 5 minutes, you went into a 1 minute. I think it was a 1 minute overtime, and that's how you got a 1 count. And I thought this made the matches so much fun. They paced them so well. I think in this I think we saw a lot of good upsets as well because of this. You know, we saw Marika Kobayashi do some upsets. We saw Hikari Noah get upset. It was fun. It was a very fun and enjoyable show.
No, Hikari Noah beat Sana Shiori.
Right, but she lost the next match.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My brain was completely. I'm thinking of the Twitter interactions where Sana called her stupid. And she's okay. Excuse me. I'm getting the Twitter interactions mixed up with the match results, where she's getting frustrated on Twitter at Sana because Sana called her stupid in the match.
The promos before each match. The structure of the show was done really well. It was a lot of fun, where they introduced the two teams. You had what's her face on a tablet reading kind of the chat from OpenRec. That was kind of cool. Nanba. Thank you.
Yeah.
So she was a good host. And before each match, she'd interview each of the two people individually before they went out, and they'd cut this short little promo, and it was totally in character and with the stakes on the line. No pun intended on the meat reference there. But yeah, it was super fun. The promos are fun. Definitely recommend going to check out all the promos on the DDT English Twitter official that's there. The 2 count rule created extra drama, and if it went to that draw, going to a 1 count rule, that was just fantastic drama, because in the universe of wrestling, anybody can get a 1 count, right? Just gotta roll them up once.
Anyone.
That's it, right?
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
So, let's see. One big upset was Marika beating Miyu Watanabe. Let's see. Now Kaukata and Yuki Kamiyu go into a draw, and then now getting a victory over her. So maybe in storyline that sets up an international match. That'd be cool.
I'd be okay with that, because I'm all about Now Kaukata. So
and they kept the fun in there with like something like Yuka versus Haru and Neko, where in the super small ring and Neko being so small, Yuka played a giant. Just really funny.
Oh, it was so funny. It was so good. Also, the Now Kakuta stuff was so now has gone by a new nickname, the Rat Chaser. Oh, because her original character was a cat, right? From Actress Girls. So now she's like, I'll be the opposite. I'll be a cat. I'll be a mouse chaser, right? The Rat Chaser. And Yuki was making fun of the name. So that was also a part of that promo where she was getting frustrated because she had made fun of her name.
Yeah, and I thought it built to the final match very well, where it came down to Rika Tatsumi, your champion, against Suzume, the plucky underdog, and they played into that quite well. It went to a 5-minute draw, and then eventually Suzume does get defeated. Team White wins, and Team Red looked at Suzume, and they kind of patted her on the head. She was upset. They made her laugh, and Shoko cuts a post-show promo on the president where I think she threatened him with like some pictures or something, so they could. She's like, I want meat too, and I threaten you, and he's like, I'll give you bentos, I guess. And they're like, oh, okay, at least we get something.
Maybe face Shoko if you're like, hey, President, I got some pictures of you that I have possession of that you probably don't want released. Give me the meat and they won't get released.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
There's a little bit of blackmail here at TJPW. Nothing out of the ordinary, funny enough, with the President. He always gets blackmailed. I think it might be his kink.
Maybe.
He always gets blackmailed.
He always gets blackmailed, yeah.
Great.
It's a simple TJPW show, so. We don't know the next challenger for Rika, do we?
I don't think so. I don't think they've announced the next challenger because no one came out after she had defended the belt against Miyu. Should find out soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. They don't do like big defenses constantly. Granted, there is, I believe, if I remember reading it correctly, there's going to be a Korakuen Hall show in April and in May, so we might find out something soon.
Ah, interesting. Okay. We'll keep our ear out for that one. I guess it's time to talk Ice Ribbon, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Do I have an Ice Ribbon new drop? Let's see.
You have Sakushi?
I don't have Sakushi.
Oh, how dare you.
Let's see. I made a KZ drop, so that'll be for Dragon Gate next time.
Oh, yeah, it's KZ time, baby.
KZ time. Let's see. Maya. We've played Maya. Ooh. Risa Sarah. Tsukasa. We haven't played Tsukasa in a while. How about a good old whistle?
Yeah, do it. Hit the Aces music.
Well, okay. We just got one little show to go over. Peace Party 68. We're still gearing up for Tsukasa versus Maya. Drywall Beware. That should be a banger.
Oh, definitely. I think there's the one show and a bit of small news that came out of recent dojo shows.
Go for it.
So the bit of news that's come out is Ibuki Hoshi is the next challenger. One of 3 people, I guess, because it's a triangle ribbon title match. She's challenging Ram Kaichao for it. I don't think we know who the other person is. And the debut, or potential debut, of a new rookie, Bunta-chan, I think is the name she's going by. She's 12, so a bit of an odd norm thing for the modernized ribbon, is they have not debuted children in a long, long time since Emi Sakura was there. She's having exhibition matches. I don't think they've said straight up that she'll debut as a full-time wrestler anytime soon, but I have a bit of a theory as to why they might, if they do let her debut, that there might be some connection in-house to why they would break that rule. Usually they've been keeping to that you can't debut until you're like 15 or 16 rule for quite some time now, since Emi left. Those are sort of the big things that have come out of that. I believe they're also trying to decide who's the next Juku challenger. They did like a poll for that. I don't know the results. Those are kind of the things that have come out since then. As for Peace Party, there was as you said, the P-League. We found out that Nao Ishikawa, another big set of news, is Nao Ishikawa has withdrawn from the Peace League. So everyone she's supposed to face going forward gets 2 points automatically. I believe she has a torn rotator muscle somewhere. It's not so bad that she can't function with it, because they were having autograph streams recently, and she seemed to not be wearing a cast, and she wasn't wearing a cast when she came out and made her announcement, if I can remember correctly. So it seems like it's something that she just needs to rest on, but poor girl, man. She keeps getting a lot of setbacks, right? She had the spinal injury that set back her debut. She had the ovarian cyst thing that set back her for quite a while, and now she has this. Poor girl. I really do feel bad for her.
Yeah, she was one of my higher picks to win her block, so that's a bummer. I was I was looking forward to how she was gonna perform in this tournament.
Yeah, I feel like she was going to go pretty far as well. It's just a shame, right? Because she was doing so well. She was improving a lot too, which was another bummer. I mean, she's gonna have to come back and go back to starting from the bottom, it seems. The first match we got, though, was her fellow rookie debut mate and Yuki Mashiro, a pure white Gacha King, the Kamari Dynamo, the best wrestler on that roster. It's not named Tsukasa Fujimoto.
Hold on, Kay. I got something banging on me. Keep talking.
Okay. So we have her versus Yappy, everyone's favorite foreign Joshi that helps out the Western store, help Western fans. Her and Mashiro have a bit of a match that ends with Mashiro poking her in the eyes and rolling her up for the pin. The post-match was very, very funny, as Mashiro can't believe she has won. As comes up and starts celebrating with jumping for joy and trying to yank the ref's arm out as she's raising his hand as he tries to raise her hand. She then gives the thumbs up, the go to Yappy. And quite funny. We get a lot of post-show stuff actually on Twitter with Yappy kind of eating up all of Mashiro's food to get back at her for it. Very funny stuff.
I did like the eye poke roll up to finish that match. That was good.
Yeah, I was just talking about the post-show stuff on Twitter where she's been eating all of Mashiro's food.
Yeah, some sucker like rang my my doorbell, if you will, and no one was there. So had a ding-dong ditch situation, I guess. Or maybe it's that Amazon package that never fucking showed up.
Oh, the Phantom package.
God
well, I was
damn
moving on to the second match in the B block this time. The other one was in the A block. I forgot to mention that. Hinori Hana versus Bani Oikawa. Hinori beats Bani, and it was a fun match. Bani, I don't think Bani got a lot to show. It was kind of a one-sided match for the most part. I like Bani. I'm really hoping Bani gets some kind of push at some point, but this was the correct choice because they seem to be pushing Hinori Hana up the card a little bit. I don't know if she'll win the tournament. I know she's your pick, I believe, JD, to win it all. She's not mine, but I do see a potential for her to win. Yeah. Anything to say about Hinori Hana?
No, I like what Hinori Hana's doing outside of Nene's vanity project out there. I think she looks
basement.
Yeah, well, no, it's Chigusa's basement, it's Mako's farm, it's Nene's attic, I guess.
I'm swapping those. Marvelous is the attic because they're at least above Seedling. Seedling has to be at the bottom.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I really like Hinori Hana in this tournament. We're seeing a more confident side of her. She's not constantly being put down. She's winning matches. Yeah, this is good stuff. She's still my pick to kind of come out of this thing as a big challenger going forward.
Well, her and Yuki Mashiro are both tied at 4 points apiece, so
yeah,
I'm still betting on Yuki Mashiro to win this because I think she's going to have this fun match with Sakushi, and that's what I want. The next match in the Peas League is also in the B block. It's Satsuki Totoro versus Madeline.
Yeah.
So, Madeline, once again, because I didn't know this the first time when she had the Kung Fu Maddie sort of gear, and now she has the Cat Maddie gear, she's making these gears on her own. She just makes the gear. Listen, this girl is a genius. I don't know what she can't do. She sings, she's a model, she's an MMA fighter and a wrestler, and she makes her own gear. If you told me she made her entrance song, I believe you too. She has a YouTube channel, by the way, 2 of them. One with video, one with audio. Go check them out if you haven't. A whole lot of fun, especially when the subtitles finally get put up on them. Anyways, Madeline comes out, Cat make ears, looks a little bit like Lum, but more clothing because, you know, I don't think Madeline should be wearing a bikini in a match. Just a bit off. I don't think I see Madeline that way. But she gets beaten by Totoro in what was a very competitive match. I thought Madeline was going to win, but it seems like that's just not going to be the case, and Satsuki Totoro gets her very first victory in the Peas League. And then in the main event, do you want to talk about Madeline?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed Madeline only has the 1 point going forward. I'm really hoping she kind of breaks out of the Peas Party undercard Diana basement situation. She clearly has a lot of respect for her peers. She likes to have a lot of fun. I just think she has too much charisma. I truly think it's Yuki level. It can, not to the extent that
100%.
Yuki's over with the crowd, but she definitely has that level of charisma. I think her in-ring game is good enough. I think it's better than Totoro to an extent. I think Totoro just has a little bit more experience on her, but I don't think she's necessarily better than Madeline. I would like to. I want to see more out of Madeline. Get a little bit more respect out of the Diana pool that she's in.
Well, we were waiting a long time for that because look how long it took for Haruka Misaki to get that.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
She's always been good too. Haruka, she's always had that raw talent and potential. It's just being in the old guard system, and like you said, she has a lot of respect for her peers. She respects Kyoko Inoue and not Jackie Sato. Jackie Sato's passed away. It's something Sato. It's Ayaka Sato. I think it's Ayaka Sato. It's one legend that's on the roster that she's kind of teaming with all the time. But she has a little too much respect for them to the point where I feel like she probably won't bail on them. It's kind of sad. I get respecting the legends, but you shouldn't let them push you down or hold you down. Also, funny thing, I think I read that out of Diana that Kaoru Ito is leaving Diana to go freelance. So hopefully nobody books her. She's terrible wrestler.
God, go listen to our Oz Academy review on the Patreon 2 weeks early before it goes on Big Egg Joshi. We kind of go on a Kaoru Ito rant on that one. No, we won't spoil what exactly we say, but I think you get the idea.
Right, but I think it's funny that because I think I read that she's decided to leave Diana. I'm like, yeah, so nobody should book her, right?
No, I wouldn't.
I certainly wouldn't either. I wouldn't even book her to flip my cheeseburgers.
Well, she'd eat them first.
Exactly, right? There you go. So, moving on to the main event, the 6-man tag, the Itsuki Aoki, Momo Kogo, one of my favorite Momos, and Tsukushi Haruka versus Matsuya Uno, Rina Shingaki, and Suzu fucking Suzuki, the prodigy. I love saying that she's the prodigy. She's the greatest. This match was all kinds of fun. It's what I expect from, or what anyone should expect from a ice ribbon multi-tag main event. Bunch of spots, bunch of like roll-ups and like, sort of near falls and people hitting a bunch of fast moves, tagging in and out. And so much fun. And my girl Momo Kogo, she pins Uno Matsuya to get her very first victory in ice ribbon.
Yeah, she was very happy about it.
So happy. Oh, she was in tears. She was so happy. She was like in tears. And I'm gonna add a little bit of extra context to this for those people who don't know about Momo Kogo. So she came out a few months ago, I think, not more than a few months ago. It was leading into the Ice Ribbon Cross Actress Girl show where she wasn't booked on it. She was one of the few talents that wasn't booked on it. I think a lot of it was they just didn't have spots for her. She kind of took it a bit personal and had a bit of a rant on Twitter about it. She apologized profusely for it. She said she was just upset, just in a bad mindset. She then goes on to reveal, because an article was coming out, but she went ahead and revealed ahead of the article that she's finally come out and told people that she has Graves' disease. If you know about Graves' disease, it's the same disease that Aki Asakawa has, where she gets tired and fatigued very, very easily. She can't work out for long periods of time because she gets tired and fatigued and sleeps for long, long hours as a result. Right? So she came out in the shift, she had that. And if you know anything about Japan and mental illnesses or just illnesses in general, it's a bit of a stigma there, right? Not so much with the younger people, but more with the older people. So you can see in an industry like Joshi, where the old guard is always kind of on top, especially being in an Actress Girls, where she has to work with a lot of the old guard. When she goes outside of Actress Girls, she would be a little bit hesitant to reveal this. So she did this, and I don't think Tsukasa or any of them kind of knew. And as a result, they literally have a bit of a spot, if you remember in the match where she came in all black and everything and interfered in the match to help Tsukasa lose. I think that was their way of giving back. And since she's come back, because she got hurt on the match, she kind of I think she sprained her shoulder because of her disease. Even a sprain, she has to take significant time off because her body doesn't recuperate as quickly as everyone else's, right? A sprained shoulder for me or you might be like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
For her, it was a month. It was just a sprain. It wasn't anything injured. It wasn't anything major. She didn't need a cast or anything like that, but she had to be on the shelf for a long period of time because of that. So she's come back now to Ice Ribbon, has had a few matches, but her winning this, she was in tears, and I think those very genuine tears, because I think she's happy she's being given chances to win, because over in Actress Girls, she doesn't win a whole lot. She doesn't lose a whole lot either. She doesn't get pinned a whole time, mostly in tag matches these days, but she doesn't really win a whole lot. And you kind of see that the company sees that she's talented and young, but maybe is a bit hesitant to book her higher on the card because of her disease, probably. That's speculation on my part, but I always get the feeling they don't want to put her as high as they do with Miku Aino and Mai Sakurai and the new rookie Ayumi, the big, tall, big green rookie. So her winning here was very, very... I popped for it. I was very happy for her because she's one of my favorite wrestlers in Actress Girls.
There you go. Yeah, I thought it was a fun match.
No, I thought the show as a whole was fun. It's Ice Women. Ice Women shows are rarely ever bad. I don't think I can think of a bad Ice Women show off the top of my head ever.
No.
They're always fun at the very least.
Well,
I think that'll do it for Ice Women, right? Got anything else to say?
no, got nothing to add. I'm just looking forward to seeing how the rest of the month plays out. I'm very much looking forward to that Infinity title match. Do we know who's challenging Risa Sera?
I don't think we have a challenger yet, but I'd imagine we'll find out before
Okay.
that date.
What about the tag titles?
Again, I don't know. Because we're not seeing the dojo shows, so a lot of it has to come from people reporting as they're there or coming out from Ice Women's Twitter. So they haven't been airing their dojo shows because Mio has been reffing a lot. And the idea is that Mio is hired as a ref. So if she can ref, they want her to ref because they pay her for, right? They don't pay her to be an MC, to be the play-by-play commentary person. And because they don't have a commentary person, and they refuse to air these pay-per-views and charge money for just the show, they want to add commentary to it. Which is their own prerogative to think that way. I mean, I think most of us would be okay with them just putting the show up, really. I don't really need commentary. It's nice, but I don't need it, right? Because they want to be that way. They want to have a quality product.
Yeah, I can understand where they're coming from. So
right.
As long as the show eventually comes out, it doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with waiting if they feel that the product they're going to be put out is something acceptable to them and their fans. So I'm willing to be patient. We'll see these shows eventually. I'm not worried about it. So
at least get the big shows. They at least make a point to put those out.
Oh yeah,
I think we'll get that 27th show, be it on Samurai TV or the I forget the name of the service they used last time for a pay-per-view, but I think we'll get it on there. Yeah, Kip. I think we'll get it on one of those two. If at the very least Nico. They'll put it up somewhere. It's a big enough show, I think they'll put it for pay-per-view. Or it'll be on Samurai TV, so we'll see it at some point.
Well, okay. Time for the retro, and I think we're going to make it under 4 hours. So big victory over here.
Yeah, victory for us. Woo!
Okay, it's the retro section of the podcast. Is it our favorite time of the year?
Well, half of it is, at least.
I would say 2/3 of this one was pretty damn good. Got the Old Japan
Better
women.
ratio.
Got New Japan through the 90s. We're in 1995. We're finishing out the Tokyo Dome. And then we got 99 Nitro. Oh boy.
Sounds so enthusiastic.
Look, man, exciting times until the end.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme of the retro section. It's like, oh yeah, it starts off on a high, then it goes to depression.
Yes. All Japan Women Classics, episode 40. All of these matches took place at the Kakato main event, or that's what it was called, at Ota Ward. Which is ironic, because Stardom's about to run there in the coming months.
In April, actually. It's going to be where the big B Priestley Utami match is going to be.
Yeah. So this took place July 21st, 1990. We began this... we should remind everybody of a certain tournament that just came to a close. The Japan Grand Prix, in which we witnessed Hokuto go down by blowing out her knee. And that caused Toyota to basically make it all to the finals and beat Hota, and she gets a red belt title shot, and here we are.
Yeah, definitely a big turn of events that happened there. Definitely didn't go according to plan if you just watch the matches.
No, and at the same time, Aja Kong has lost the All-Pacific title, the white belt, due to DQ, and then Suzuka Minami vacated the title because she did not want to win the title via those means, so there is no All-Pacific champion at this current time.
Once again, it's been less than a year, and they vacated it once again?
Yes, it is the second year in a row the title has been vacated, and there is seemingly no person that we can kind of pinpoint whom is going to take that title next. You can assume it's going to be Suzuka Minami in some sort of match or maybe a mini tournament or what have you against possibly someone that could beat her. We had a theory at the end of the Grand Prix that there's no way Minami Toyota is going to win the red belt in this time in 1990.
No. Much too soon.
Yeah, Bull Nakano is the top dog, the queen.
To be very frank.
Yeah, no one's beating her anytime soon. So I had a theory that it was going to be Manami Toyota losing to not to Aja Kong, to Bull Nakano, and then it would be Suzuka Minami versus Manami Toyota, kind of carrying on that feud that we saw late last year, early this year in 89-90. Because remember, they did have that match where we were kind of confused who the crowd was cheering for. And so this could be a push for Manami Toyota to reach the next stage of her career, going on to what's looking like a very successful 1990 for her.
I think we might be right on that one, right on the head with that, actually. I mean, I'm not going to look it up, but I have a feeling that's exactly where they end up going with it.
Well, you can tell by the booking, right?
Right, definitely. I mean, it would make sense to give it to her at this point because she's already gained popularity and traction, and I mean, you don't have anyone else in that spot. You already had Aja. Suzuka Minami is not someone that I think they want to necessarily build around, right? Like, she's talented, but I think Manami Toyota is the one the crowd is really getting behind, especially when we watch this Bull match. So I think that makes more sense. Hey, you're sure as shit not putting on Hota at this point.
No, I mean, shit, if they would have wanted to push Hota to even that level, I feel like they would have already.
No, they definitely tried to get her to that level, and the fans just went no.
I also believe at this point in time, Nishiwaki has retired, or she's very close to it. So that leaves Hokuto and Minami of the Marine Wolves, and now Hota without a partner. So that's kind of explaining why Tateno is in the role of Hota's partner on this show.
Yeah, because that wouldn't, like, if you even look at the teams, that one doesn't make any sense because those two have never really had that kind of interaction with each other to even be a team. So it's definitely a very thrown together team.
Yeah. And based on their previous, I guess, kickboxing match or what have you, Medusa and Aja Kong they're in the Aja Kong push to the mountain roll, fast and furious. They want to get her up there. She is, I think, along with Manami Toyota, the two people on the rise at their highest peaks. And you kind of had the feeling Hokuto was on her way there, but unfortunately with her and her injuries, she has suffered yet another setback in her career.
Right, and I mean, Jesus Christ, we talk about that Kong Medusa match. Fucking both of them looked fucking like they were trying to go into a junkyard and scrap.
I have a lot of notes for that match.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Well, let's not waste any more time. I think we've set the card. We've set the story. Our first match is a kickboxing match. Akemi Torisu versus Eriko Yoshinaga. Bat Yoshinaga, I believe. And this Akemi person, Kay, dear God.
She is very large. I think that's being a little generous.
While we were watching this in our Discord, I believe we all called her the human equivalent of a Fall Guy or even Kirby.
I think I called her. At first I tried to call her Butterbean because Jesus Christ, she's big, but then she got gassed going to the ring. So I feel like that's not an apt comparison.
Yeah,
I don't think I see Butterbean get gassed walking to the ring.
That is exactly in my notes. Blown up, getting to the ring, just the round out shape of a person, and this was unbelievably poor.
Oh, it was like everything you do when you're not trying to be a good fighter, right? She had her back turned to her. Her guard was barely up at any point. Her strikes were like flailing. Like she was flailing. I don't think she ever connected with anything. The entire fight.
She turtles up. She gets scared. Zero skill. I'm going to be honest. As bad as this was, it's absolutely hysterical because of how bad it is. Why would you put a kickboxing match together with someone who doesn't know how to fight? It's something straight out of that shit Russo put together in WWF.
Oh, you mean the Brawl for All that I watched as a child and hated because I thought it was stupid.
That's what this reminded me of.
You know the funniest part? This Akemi chick? She becomes a regular part of their MMA division.
Oh god.
Did you know AJW had an MMA division, right? They had one of those and a belt for it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was defended high on shows with lots of title changes and drew a lot of money.
Oh, you're quite the jokester.
So Akemi gets clocked 4 times at least. Then we'll go with the 5th. She just simply gets kicked to her leg, and then she just collapses and goes, ouch! She falls. The ref finally just goes, all right, we've had enough. Yoshinaga, you win. Let's get out of here. Let's go home.
Funniest part is when we're watching this, through my head, I'm like, if she was a normal-sized chick, she'd have been knocked out by now. She's not getting knocked out because she's just so fat. She has all the extra cushion around her head. She's taking these, because she took quite a few stiff shots to the head. Repeatedly. Stiff shots in, and I'm like, this chick has got it. Like, she had her back turned to her and got clocked like 3 times in the back of the head. I'm like, there's no way you don't have a concussion at this point.
Yeah, this was quite awful. Marine Wolves, Hokuto and Manami versus Yumiko Hota and Norio Tateno. So a month has passed since Hokuto blew out her knee in the Grand Prix, and yet here she is hobbling with a heavily padded and taped up knee, despite the clear injury in favoring. This was not selling.
Oh no.
Yeah. This turned out to be somehow a well-worked back and forth tag match with everybody getting their shtick in. It was quite amazing how good this was.
Yeah, and so one of the things that after we got done watching this and I was reminded about the next day, I wanted to look something up because I felt like she had to be on some kind of painkillers, right? There's no way she's wrestling in that ring. And you know, at this point in Japan, painkillers in sports were heavily, heavily frowned upon.
Oh, good. So she's just wrestling through searing pain in her knee. Awesome.
Exactly. Like maybe ice packs, maybe an ice bath. Maybe some warming pads, something they're using whenever she like stops wrestling.
Oh no.
No, she's like going in full raw. No painkillers, no nothing. No.
I can see why the character change into Dangerous Queen comes. She just slowly loses her mind.
I like the
due
idea
to the
of
pain.
that.
This is the head canon I'm going with right now.
This is the genesis of the Dangerous Queen.
Yeah.
Moment. I think it's sad.
Yeah.
I think it's sad. Because like she has to do this. She has to do this, otherwise she gets replaced.
She gets replaced, and she possibly loses her job.
Just even crazier when we remember on the Stardom show, her exact words on commentary, where she thinks that this generation of Joshi wrestlers is going to be better than her generation because they don't have to worry about things that she had to worry about, and this is one of those things.
This is definitely one of those
replaced.
things. So my girl Tateno here, Suzuka Minami, also looked to be the best in this match. Tateno in tag matches clearly works way faster for her. Tags out after hitting her fast, huge moves that she does, because she's all explosion, right? And as we've seen in her singles matches, they don't have that same explosion because the notes in between all the strikes are very much kind of just holds on the ground. It's got to, and she's got to work up to those explosive moves. Well, in a tag match, she's able to just immediately hit those moves and tag out, so everything feels fresh when Tateno gets in. So Tateno being a tag wrestler is her strength. Who knew the Jumping Bomb Angel was good at tag matches?
Right. I think the word I'd use for that, she's a good hot tag. That's why she's such a good tag wrestler, because she does really good at the hot tag spots.
Yeah.
And that's more or less what her offense is, right? It's just the explosions in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
No in-betweens.
Suzuka Minami was very much the same, but still can't help heading to the ground for a good old lockup to just kill that flow. So, still very much a match killer for Minami going forward. She can't quite keep the crowd with this kind of structure. Hota did some kicks, while Hokuto, again, despite the knee, was still able to pull through many of her offense, including the winning top rope dropkick and pinning Hota. So the injured person pins the kicker. Hota didn't do much here.
No, but what she did do was, Jesus Christ, the willpower. And you could look on her face. She didn't look like she was selling the pain. She tried, I think, her best to not let it show that she was probably dying inside from how much it hurt.
Well, Hoten Toteno did an excellent job avoiding her hurt leg throughout all the offense. I think, unfortunately, because of that, they were also getting her on her neck a lot more because they weren't able to kind of flatten everything out. And Hokuto, when you look at her do some suplexes, she's doing this on one leg. That's what she's doing.
Oh, it's very clear, and the camera's trying not to show it. Too,
right.
Tell.
They're always showing a camera on the opposite side of the hurt leg. So, good match despite all that. Martial arts street fight. Aja fucking Kong versus Medusa Maselli, Queen Tennessee over here. So, yes, back in May of 1990, these two had a kickboxing match, and this was the built-up rematch, heavily built up, at least the anticipation of this rematch, due to the indecision of the outcome previously. Badass music for Medusa as she comes out. We thought it was Aja Kong's music. It was so badass.
We did. And then she comes out looking like scrap trailer trash wrestling fighter. Like, had the fucking cut up jeans with the sparkles, with the fucking shirt and the denim jacket and everything. She looked like she was from Tennessee, like just straight from like the boonies of Tennessee, about to fight somebody.
Yeah, hopped up Tennessee girl is in my notes. Also, Sarah Connor like, and that would kind of match the time as well.
She had freaking cowboy boots on.
Cowboy-like boots, at least. Meanwhile,
yeah,
G.I. Kong came out to
Commander
kiss.
Kong.
I love it out loud. Being carried. Commander Kong over here. I love it out loud, being carried on a platform as she wears the G.I. Joe Commando gear. Rev it up, baby.
Listen, I gotta paint a picture for this one. These people are carrying her on a flat platform. She's not sitting. She's not laying. She is straight fucking standing, asserting her dominance. She got the spread legs, the arms to her side, like, Jesus Christ, Aja Kong is like a freaking badass boss. That's Final Boss Kong. And she hasn't hit Final Boss Kong yet, but she looked like Final Boss Kong. Did she not? We are seeing the evolution. And if we're to compare, this is kind of the slow evolution we saw Bull Nakano go through. Exactly, because we got the freaking Bull Nakano coming in with the murder and the blue face, the gray face. I love it when it's a special show, a special fight, something special, and the wrestlers in AJW always seem to have some sort of big gear change and some extravagant entrance, especially for the heels, when they're making their grand appearance for a big fight. More of this, please, in the modern era. There's definitely not a lot of that. Oh, yeah, no, I think the closest we get is, like, Giulia or something changing her jacket to, like, the big-time jacket whenever she comes out for her big matches. She has the two jackets. She has, like, the black kind of, like, normal sleeveless, the big shoulder pads, the cape. Yeah, I guess the closest we get to it. Yeah, I guess, we do see it quite often in Ice Ribbon with a lot of the big main eventers. Tsukasa did it recently when she was about to win the title. Suzu had a big gear change when she was about to win the title. Maya, when she was about to lose the title, had a big queen getup. It's always good. Ace Queen. Yeah, Ace Queen. I think with entrances, right? I think the closest I can think of to like a change specifically for a special entrance, Tsukasa Fujimoto with the Angel Wing gear or Angel Wing cape that she busts out like maybe once a year, maybe. That's like the closest I can think of, at least. So where are we in my notes? Yes. They both tag each other hard in the face in the intros, and then they go to blows. Obviously, Kong is not trained in boxing, while Medusa, I guess, has some basics. It's enough to make a difference. Medusa is getting cheers from the crowd, so she is clearly top gaijin. And I'm going to say it, she's number 2 in the company right now. Is she Ichiban gaijin? Yes, she would be Ichiban gaijin female. to borrow a phrase that Beep recently likes to use. Right. I'm so used to that now. I was like, yes, Bea Priestley is the AJW equivalent of Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa.
She's Ichiban Gaijin Medusa.
I think Medusa definitely has a lot more star power than old B.
Well, yes, that goes without saying, but it's funny because she's Ichiban Gaijin, and we're just saying Medusa's Ichiban Gaijin AJW. I'm like, the equivalence is that Bea Priestley is just Medusa.
I suppose. You always got to have the big Gaijin star at some point. Medusa getting streamers here in her intro. Very cool to see. You don't see a lot of Gaijins that get streamers these days in the Joshi Wrestling. Nonetheless, here we are. Medusa's top star. And they have a boxing fight for a bit. They kind of go to the ground. Kong gets one super hard back fist in early, rocks Medusa. She ends up holding her cheek for like the rest of the match for this, and she got hit hard.
Right, because if you look at I remember watching it, it wasn't the back fist that hit her. The fist didn't hit her. The forearm
it's even
clocked
worse.
her side, like the close to the elbow. I don't think it was the exact elbow, but like the forearm portion next to the elbow clocked her real hard in the jaw. I think she knocked her jaw out of place.
That's very possible. Medusa gets her cute little cowboy boots off, hits Kong with him. Always like a good Von Erich type spot there. Assuming they have shoes on.
Right.
Yeah. Finally, after 10 minutes, they spill outside. Kong takes her boots off too. We're going shoeless. Medusa gets shoved into the front rows, laying on fans. Kong shoves a giant wooden table on her. She don't care about no fans. Kong mad.
Just collateral damage. You paid money. You wanted this.
So she also hits her with a chair for good measure while she's just on all these people. Not a hot match from the crowd reaction once it got going. That kind of shocked me because of the entrances and everything. So Kong is still not quite over. They're not quite buying her yet as a main eventer, but this is why you have those matches, because it will get people to buy into you being a big deal. But I think it also says something more about the MMA shoot shit that's going on right now.
I was just about to say that, but it's because they were dead for the MMA match. They already got one of those, and the fans at this point are not reacting very well to those at all. But I think this being like they had boxing gloves on. I think that was the mistake. I think if you had them come out and do this, but maybe give them smaller gloves to make it a little bit less obvious that it's a boxing match,
or they just have tape fists.
Right, but I feel like you couldn't get away with some of the shots. Like maybe modern day MMA gloves, but that might be a little dangerous too. But
were they even around in this era? I don't know. Like the fingerless.
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
That would have been smarter than what they did, because when they come out with those gloves on, the fans I think are preconditioned to see, this is just going to be a shitty kickboxing fight. Because they popped for some of the spots, but they didn't pop for the kickboxing spots.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because right after this, and they get back in the ring, they do actual wrestling maneuvers, and the crowd finally pops. So let that be a lesson. Shoot fighting bullshit in wrestling doesn't work.
It's never worked. Can't think of a single time where it's actually worked.
Yeah, there's like low key that tries to incorporate certain things. There's a few other wrestlers, Hashimoto. The thing is, if you're gonna do this, you have to actually you have to work in knockouts into their matches for it to be more, for people to buy into it at least a little bit, so they can suspend their disbelief. This is just coming across as a fake kickboxing match, and it's lame.
I mean, that's I'm not really saying like more like the style. Like a wrestler comes in and their in-ring wrestling style is like more strikes and kickboxing based. Like we see that with the striker wrestlers. That gets over, right?
Right.
I'm talking like MMA fights. Just implanting them somewhere in the card has never worked for any promotion.
Right.
Can't think of one that's ever worked for.
The second Kong back fist cracks Medusa's jaw hard for a second time. She goes down, and this is when Medusa actually starts to get an offensive flurry to save face, because she's hurting here. You can kind of tell. Gets a few good shots in on Kong, appears to rock her too, so we're kind of at a 28-29 round going here. Both are incredibly blown up at this point now. They need a break. Ring the bell for the next round kind of situation. But really funny moment of Medusa out of nowhere hitting a top rope drop kick in this sucker, and she goes for a pin out of instinct, and the ref the ref is like, Medusa, no girl. And she's like, oops.
Oh, that's right. You could tell it was right up instinct because she immediately goes for it. She shoots for it immediately after hitting the drop kick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, that wrestling training is going to get in the way of this kickboxing, isn't it?
So after all of this, didn't write down the time. I'm sure it went over 20 minutes. Finally, they do the worked finish with a big Kong haymaker and then a couple back fists to follow. Drops Medusa. She can't make the 10 count to get up. This was actually pretty fun for a good chunk of it all. Even some boos came from the crowd afterward, but mostly silent in the entire arena. Kong not over yet, as we confirmed, but she is getting a monster push for sure. Step 2 complete.
Right. It's funny because we made the comparison to Bull Nakano. Bull Nakano's push wasn't like this, though. It was more violence and getting DQs and hurting, like, just straight murdering people, right? Kind of like almost like Dump's sort of push up, right?
Ah, yes. You kind of see
you
see an evolution in the trying to make the heel based on the heel prior. So Dump made the base.
Is different. Yeah.
Well, Dump made the base. Bull went off the base, and then they kind of Bull did, and then went into the entrances, the special matches for her with the nunchakus, and now Aja Kong is doing that same now new baseline that's happening. So little evolution there.
I can't remember who, but I feel like they tried to do a similar baseline like Aja with another wrestler after Aja, and I don't remember it working.
Yeah,
I almost want to say it was Hota.
Right, because they keep diluting it.
Yeah.
They keep diluting the formula. You can't move away from the original baseline. You can evolve the baseline, but you need to keep the base, which they really got away from. So we'll see whom is next in line for the big monster heel push after Aja Kong.
Right. Well, I think it's smart how they did with Aja because because Bull's was very close to Dump's, whereas Aja's isn't very close to Bull's at all. It's similar. It's like an adjacent thing, right? Instead of murdering people, she's shoot fighting, beating up people, and looking like a tough badass.
Well, that's right. That's her evolved style from the new baseline that Bull set. You get what I'm saying?
Because you could have gotten dangerously close to making Aja just another Bull clone or another Dump.
You don't want to do that.
They didn't, because I mean, even nowadays when we think about them, they kind of have like a similar like physique and sort of face paint and craziness to them, but they're both very much different, and we all view them very different because they are very different.
I wonder if Kyoko, in a way, is going to end up. I guess we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
In a way, gets more of the Ultimate Warrior like kind of look, and
well, that I know
becomes a giant baby face. I think she ever went heel.
3WA singles title. Here we are. Bull Nakano defending the title against the Grand Prix winner Manami Toyota. So Blue Kano has returned here and is very tan.
Really tan. And I made a comment. I said, I noticed something. Whenever somebody holds the red belt, they tend to get a tan.
Well, yeah, they got that champion money. They got to go hang out on the beach, brah.
Yeah, you gotta go fucking get tan lines and everything. You gotta go to the beach. Like, because Asuka did it, Chigusa did it. I think Dump still had the.
Well, this is 1990, right?
It, but, like, yeah. I don't think Dakota did it. Oh, Dakota did do it, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Just scratch that. She did.
You remember her time in Mexico? Come on.
Right. I don't think Masami did it. I think that's the one I'm thinking that didn't do it. But that was like the start of all of it, so.
I think Bull Nakano was hanging out with Mayumi Ozaki doing those record shoots.
Oh, yeah, in 1990, fucking go check out the JWP episode with the Big Egg Joshi for that one. Awkward photo shoots in a chair on the beach while kids play. Jesus, that was so funny.
So weirdly enough, we are starting to hear women cheer for Bull Nakano in the crowd. So kind of a cool scene. She needs to heal it up or she's going to go babyface here.
I feel like she almost does go babyface at a certain point during her push with the belt.
Yeah.
Because she was over with the women. It'd be kind of stupid at this point for you to try to turn away from that since how that was sort of what got you to the dance to begin with.
Let's try to remember that thought as we go through 1990 here.
Right.
Toyota wearing a nice little white and pink leotard. Ooh.
Yeah, my wife looks great. as I've dubbed her. Listen, Manami Toyota's great. We have yet to see the black and pink awesome Manami Toyota. She also had a nice little jacket as she came to the ring too. So she's definitely looking nicer for her big championship match, you know. Can't blame her. It's her big spotlight moment.
Maybe she was watching some Cutie Suzuki and she's like, I'm going to do that.
I mean, she could have been watching Cutie, but I feel like she was more trying to do her own thing at this point. She's like, I'm going to be the beauty pair. There you go, beauty pair.
All right. What a stuff job this match was, along with Bull just ragdolling the jumpy Toyota.
I don't think she got any offensive flurry in at all. I think she got like maybe one or two moves she caught Bull with to kind of get the crowd to sort of pop for it, but it was one-sided. Completely one-sided. It should have been at this point, really.
Yes, Bull Nakano is on such a high pedestal that nobody can touch her. And the match was structured, and Bull Nakano is not old by any means. She's still in her early 20s.
Right. At least we
so
forget.
This is not a veteran spanking up a young up-and-coming star. This is young-ass Toyota who just kind of lucked into the finals and proved herself and happened to get a win there in even kayfabe turns. So this match was basically the hope of Toyota trying to just pick a bone and get one over on Nakano. And slowly but surely, Toyota does get a hope spot in or two. Top rope dropkick, top rope plancha, but she inevitably gets stuffed some more, and a big reversal from Toyota, which ends up throwing Bull over the top to the floor. And this is when Toyota revs up. And she pulls a Tateno special. She runs and leaps over the top rope, and she gets her feet caught up on the top rope, corkscrews to the floor, missing Bull completely. Crash and burn, we start.
Oh, Manami. Her big moment. One moment to probably shine in this match. Her big, like, one thing that she'll have is she fucks it up. I love Manami Toyota. I promise you, she gets better. She doesn't crash and burn anymore after a while.
Oh, Bull Nakano does not sell it for a second. She just gets back in the ring, big smile on her face. She's like, missed me, bitch. More stuffing. One last hope spot for Toyota with a few Joshi roll-ups here and there and here again. And then finally, Bull murders. Clotheslines her neck, flipping Toyota inside out. What an amazing sell. What an amazing connection. Pins her off
twice.
Yeah, pins her off the shoulder powerbomb. Hot damn, that was a fun match. It was simple. Had a good little build to it. Build to the finish, at least. Having the young 19-year-old she's just simply not good enough yet, Kay. She'll get her time again someday.
So I pose a question. So since we have a general idea that Kira Hokuto was supposed to be in the spot, do you think the same thing was going to happen to Hokuto?
I don't think she was going to win, but definitely put up a better fight.
You see, I think she would have gotten the win, and they would have ran it back. I think the way they were building Hokuto, I got the feeling, because she also had female fans, so I got the feeling they were going to try to Chigusa dump V2 this.
Nah, I can't agree, because they still went through with that white belt vacation. I think that was destined to be her dig.
Yes?
This was the plan all along, and Toyota was slotted in there. And it ended up getting her more over, I think, by the end of it.
I feel like the white belt vacation was them still not knowing to deal with the white belt, I think. Because that white belt match happened after Hokuto got hurt, right? On the match card.
No, that was the same night as the finals.
So I wonder if that was not actually the plan for the white belt to begin with. I wonder if they were going to have it on Suzuka Minami. And then because Hokuto got hurt, had to change things around, right? Because I just don't...
But they went with the DQ finish.
Right. I think that you said this happened during the, like, up to the finals, right? The show the finals. So that would mean Minami Hokuto had already happened by the time the white belt match had happened, right? I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's worth a thought. Sure.
I have this feeling. I had this feeling that they were going to, because at this point we kind of have an idea of how they try to book things, right? So they're clearly trying to get that Chigusa dump to sort of formula, right? We're seeing that with everything on the card, with Hota and how they're presenting Hokuto and Bull and Aja and how they're being presented in different ways. I feel like because Hokuto was already having a bit of a female fan base that we were hearing in the audience, the female fans were behind her, right? I feel like her still having the short hair and kind of the tan look and how they were booking her going into it all, I feel like they were going to try to do the sort of dump Chigusa too. And they might have had her win the belt and then Bull to just beat her up and get it back. And then they just trade wins and continue to build the feud like they did with Chigusa and dump. It's just a hunch on me watching all this as it happens.
It's possible.
I don't think I ever gave it thought beforehand. I don't think I ever gave that thought beforehand when I was just looking stuff up and reading about things. But watching it all unfold, I kind of get a feeling that they were going to try to go for that, but because she got hurt, they just changed the plans for the white belt, right? And then just have Manami get burnt. Because I feel like Manami was going to win the white belt at any point anyways. But I feel like if Akira Hokuto was going to win the GP, I feel like they were going to go higher with her than just the white belt. Given the fact that she had female fans, something they're desperately trying to cling to at this point.
They are in the need of making new stars. You might be correct on that. You absolutely might be. Okay. That does it for...
This is the thought that I had watching all of this.
Well, that does it for AJW. Okay. Time to go through New Japan in the 90s. Okay. Mr. K. Can you hear me, sir?
I can.
All
can
right.
You hear me?
Yes. We're finishing up the Tokyo Dome, January 4th, 1995. So, we did the undercard in the previous Red Leaf Retrocast episode, in episode 76. Well, now we're doing the main eventers. And this was like a 13-match show or something absurd. And I have the card in front of me. Just a little recap here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 matches on this Dome show.
A lot of matches.
Luckily, we are skipping the Inoki tournament that was on this show. It was a cup tournament called BVD Cup. And basically, it was a tournament part of Inoki's Final Countdown tour. Yes, we're still on it. It feels like it's been 2 years, because it has. And that's... it's... it. I actually wrote down 3 years in my notes, so holy shit. And yes, of course, the finals came down to Inoki, and he was taking on Sting!
Of course. Who won that match? Just out of curiosity.
You care to take a guess?
I'm just going to go ahead and say maybe Inoki.
Kay, you would be correct. It was an entire...
Of course.
Yeah, it was an entire cup on the Dome made to put Inoki himself over, and the match was, you guessed it, slow and boring. Hard skip. I did watch it. So let's get into our first match of the upper card. It is Junji Hirata, the former Super Strong Machine, whom lost his mask during the tag league / took it off in pissed offness against his tag partner Chono. Hirata is teaming up with Fujinami, and he's taking on the team of Masahiro Chono and Sabu from ECW.
Random. Yes, Sabu. Where did that come from all of a sudden? It's just out of nowhere.
Well, if I had to guess, Sabu was super popular, and he was on excursion, and boy, this match was definitely to highlight Sabu and his wackiness.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. It was very much a hey, this guy does extreme, high-fly, extreme ECW stuff. Let's just highlight that.
And highlight they did. Harada looked a little bit more spry than usual. He must have been pretty motivated. A lot of these upper card matches also have taglines to them. This was called Super Hard Syndrome to play into the whole. Yeah, I know. It's I swear it's not a euphemism. It's supposed to play on the whole Super Strong Machine, and he has a syndrome against Chono, his former tag partner. So outside,
sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, outside of the slow Fujinami and Chono shtick that was going on, they couldn't help themselves going to the ground. It was mostly kind of a brawl. Sabu using the chair, flying over, doing like his big leg lariats. At first, the ref doesn't know what's happening. The crowd pops incredibly. There's a moment at the end where a table's set up in the ring, and Sabu sets up a table on the turnbuckle diagonal, and then he sets a chair up, so he begins to stand on it. The crowd all go to their feet, and they're just like, what is going on? And he does a nice little leg drop onto the table. The table kind of breaks. You know, those Japanese tables are kind of hard. I am the table. And Chono and Sabu end up defeating Harada and Fujinami in 11 minutes. Not bad, I would say. It was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, Sabu is so you said it right, they got to their feet. It's like they had never seen something like that before, so I think that was he got over there, don't you think?
I think it's safe to say Sabu got over. Hawk Warrior with Animal. Animal is back from his little injury excursion he was on. He joined a union, and he got to be unionized for a little while. They're taking on Hawk is taking on Scott Norton. 7 minutes, beefy boys beat each other up. They do a lot of beefy moves, and weird-ass animal distraction constantly. And Hawk ends up defeating Scott Norton. Basically, big feats of strength and hitting each other hard. I like this match.
The crowd loved this match. I remember them popping for all the big man spots. They like their big, beefy guys in Japan, it seems.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious when Norton finally gets his push. Like, I'm just kind of waiting for it. I feel like I've been waiting for it this whole journey through the 90s here.
You also wait for Inoki to finally retire for 3 years, so hey.
I'm also waiting for that too, yes. IWGP Tag Title match, Hiroshi Hase, that cocksucker, with Keiji Muto. They're your tag champions, and they're taking on the Steiner brothers, Rick and Big Papa Pump Not Yet Scott Steiner.
Big Papa about to pump in a few years, Steiner.
25 minutes. Okay, this match was amazing. I love this match.
I love it too. It was great.
It was so bizarre. So there's early on, so there's a small, like, 5-minute span where they're just kind of working each other, just doing basic tag stuff. Luckily, it wasn't too long, but there was a lot of character work in the early parts of in the match, and they worked up to it all the way to the end. And the character parts was about this woman in the crowd. I could not confirm if it was Hiroshi Hase's girlfriend or wife or a celebrity. I'm leaning towards the celebrity sector.
Right, the celebrity would make more sense, right?
So Hase goes over to this celebrity woman. She's quite cute, in the front row, and he kind of bends over the guardrail, and she kisses him on the cheek. Big pop from the crowd. Hase's proud of himself. He's like, hell yeah, look at me. I got the hot woman to kiss me. And he goes back in the ring. There's a couple moves done, and Scott Steiner then goes outside and goes up next to her, and he starts hitting on her.
Hey, baby, you live around here?
Hey, baby, nothing finer than Scott Steiner, am I right? And she goes, no!
I was like, oh, know what that means? The Scott Steiner no means yes.
She has this, like, weird, uncomfortable smile on her face. She could not shake her head hard enough away from Scott Steiner, and Steiner just goes, puts his arms out, she rejected me, get back in the ring, whatever. So he does a couple moves, tags in Rick Steiner, And now it's Rick Steiner's turn. He goes over to this woman, and he doesn't do this. He doesn't do what Scott Steiner does, where he just kind of gestures over, like across from the guardrail, just looks at her. He reaches over and hugs her and picks her up. And the crowd pops hard, and Rick just puts his arms in the air, saying, "A woman touched me." Whoa!
I had sex, Mom. Look at me.
Not what I expected. They go to work.
Definitely not.
Yeah, they go to work. The crowd is just having a great time during this match. We're having a great time. They go to work. Keiji Muto's back in the ring. He's working on Scott Steiner. Puts him down, works the leg, does the Bret Hart leg over the top of the head shtick, and then he looks at Rick Steiner, and then he does a jog, a slow jog, 3 steps, and he goes, hoo, 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 and then goes right back into a bulldog choke. And I'm like, you piece of shit. It is the funniest thing ever. I posted on Twitter. The GIF is great.
We had to rewind that moment several times because we all popped so hard at that.
It's the most character we've seen out of Keiji Muto when he doesn't have face paint on.
Right, because he doesn't have face paint on. He's bland and boring. Oh my god, this is great.
Yeah,
it was Scott Steiner. We have yet to see restraining order Steiner. We're not there yet.
We're not in 1999 yet. And then they just go on to have a great tag match. Hase and Muto, it's just hot tags, tag combos all the way to the finish, and Muto Hase retain. The home crowd is very much pleased. And I'm looking at cage match right here, Kay. 6.25 out of 10, and the main event has 7.25. I can't say I agree with that. I think they're switched.
It sounds like a lot of people don't get the majesty of the Steiner brothers at this point. They just don't get it.
Yeah. So 4.25 from good old Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer, and the main event got 4 stars. So even Big Dave agrees. IWGP Heavyweight Title match, Shinya Hashimoto versus Kensuke Sasaki. Power Warrior no longer, because Animal is back. Probably for the best for Kensuke.
Right.
I won't say this is a bad match by any means. I think for 19 minutes, it's very acceptable. It's on a big stage. I think they worked fine, but I think it probably tops out at 3.25, 3.5, a 2-star recommendation kind of deal. Maybe even 1.
Yeah, this didn't do it a whole lot for me. Like you said, it wasn't a bad match. We've seen worse matches at this level, and at least I have in New Japan so far with this stuff, with the headlocks and rest holds. We didn't get a whole lot of that. That's some of it, I think, but not a whole lot. It just felt like it was longer than it should have been. I think if you had cut some time off, it might have been a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe. I'm never a stickler for time. I always think, hey, if the promotion, if Booker Man says you got 20 minutes, go out there and kill it, it's up to them, the wrestlers, to be good enough to meet that time slot.
You're not wrong, and I'm usually not that way either. I feel like with what they were doing, I feel like if you had shaved some of those spots out, it probably would have been a little bit better off.
Well, I don't think that was the problem in this match. My issue is with Kensuke Sasaki. Shinya Hashimoto, I've gotten used to. He does his kicks, he does his wheel kick, he does his jumping DDT, and he does a lot of fucking headlocks, which drives me insane. I hate that.
Right.
Kensuke Sasaki comes across as a weak man Kawada to me right now. Sasaki's got a good look, good build. He's powerful, but he doesn't use power moves. He reminds me way too much of Kawada without the constant striking keeping you engaged. So that's what really lost it to me. Maybe in time, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of Kensuke Sasaki matches, especially high-end singles. So maybe in time, with more main events like this, he will start to prove me wrong. And I hope that's correct. But Shinya Hashimoto defeats Kensuke here. Pretty much the expected result. Kensuke is clearly not ready at this point in time, in my mind. So, I'm glad we watched. I'm glad we didn't watch the whole thing or review the whole thing in one go. This was much more manageable, and I would say the undercard delivered and the uppercard delivered on the show. Overall, Tokyo Dome 95, I think it was a good show outside of the Inoki nonsense.
Right, I think it's the first time I've watched New Japan, Old New Japan with you, and I wasn't bored with anything. And I think there was a few things, like some of the junior stuff, that maybe could have been a little less rest-holdy. But I can't say I can't say I checked out on anything. It's important because I have done a lot of that with this Old New Japan stuff. When the minute they hit the ground and go for a bunch of leg locks and arm locks, I'm like, okay, you've lost me. Especially when they sit there for God knows how many minutes in that same spot. I'm glad we didn't watch the Inoki thing because I feel like I would have not liked that. That would have checked me out quick.
Oh no, I am 1,000% done with New Japan shoot matches, and I'm done with Inoki matches, and I'm done with
shoot matches?
I am yes well, let me rephrase that. I'm done with the fake martial arts matches.
Inokiism.
Yeah, the Inokiism is I learned my lesson early on this journey, and I also said I'm done with Hase singles matches. I can't do them.
That's the ambient guy. That guy puts me to sleep.
Yeah. He's all locks and one Uranagi. That's all he does. Tag matches, he's much more manageable. So, okay, time for Nitro.
Oh boy.
Chapel Hill, North Carolina brings us Monday Night Nitro from March 1st, 1999.
Despair.
Dude, so much despair. Believe it or not, according to a couple other podcasts and Brian and Vinny on Wrestling Observer, Raw on this night was even worse.
How?
Apparently, it was just a mess of a show up and down the card. There was Blue Meanie and Gangrel nonsense. A whole lot of just garbage on the show. Russo is running wild, basically.
Russo Mania running wild. Can't wait for that to start happening in WCW.
Yeah, that does happen this year. So I found this on a message board from 1999. It's basically, so it's like a text translation of a message board that's kind of been saved on the internet, and found this guy talking about the WCW booking. Okay, so much like people today, kind of on the Twitter and other boards and whatnot, just say, the booking's nonsense. I hate these stories. Hogan's going over. The first comment under this was, I quote, "Why don't you go watch WWF? You suck, NWO for life, dude." Dude. And it's the letter Y, D, capital O-N-T, lowercase u, G0, W-A-C-H, WWF, the letter U, suck with all different lower and uppercase words, NWO, and then for life, dude, is all numbers and exclamation points.
This guy is a precious case.
So that was the highlight of my research for this episode.
Oh my god, that reminds me. So I remember coming across the YouTube video where a guy was talking about some RSPW, some kind of board that you go back on even now, look at old stuff from like the 90s, people talking about stuff. It got me to look at old Japanese message boards. I wonder what kind of gems we could find there.
Oh, that would make going through 99 and 2000 Nitro so entertaining. Is just to read message board posts of what they thought of the match.
I think that's something we should start doing.
Oh no! All right. So it's the usual crew. It's Shivani, Zabisco, Tenay. Nitro opens up with a 3-bell salute from the recently deceased Renegade. So more wrestlers going down with unfortunate early deaths. That will be a theme in 99, unfortunately. David Flair and the Mystery Woman, we don't know it's Tori Wilson yet, are listening to voicemails from Father Flair, and they're laughing to the horrible audio. He's got a tape recorder, and hope his father retires. It's about time. Mystery Woman is laughing. She looks good, though.
You missed a key point there. I think he mentions that he got the messages from his mom. His mom gave him the voicemail messages.
You're right. I apologize, Kay. That is a clear that is a clear factoid to what a loser this guy is.
I believe the words he told her were, "Look at what my mom gave me."
Well, we're hitting it early, but where's my what about me, Raven? You know what? No. David Flair gets what a mark. Here we go.
You don't get it.
Santa Claus is coming to town. What a maroon.
What a mark.
There we go.
What a mark indeed.
We didn't last very long into this Nitro before we played it. We're off to a good start. So there's a big announcement Ric Flair will be giving tonight. And then we get TV champion Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell to the ring. Steiner calls the crowd redneck scumbags. Won't be seeing DDP. Steiner's role model. All he sees is genetic junk. That was a phrase he really said. Bagwell does the whole, I mean, they're in North Carolina, so Bagwell comes in, says they're Duke fans. Cheap heat. Bagwell issues a challenge to Goldberg and the returning Scott Steiner for a tag match later tonight. And Steiner's going to prove that Goldberg is just hype. Even though he's the former champion, never got a rematch, not even in the conversation for champion. He's been reduced down to the TV title. And this is Buff Bagwell's first sanctioned wrestling match since his neck injury. And, just free on TV, no hype. Just, here you go. We're just doing that.
Yeah. I like how, when they said this, both of us questioned whether it was even going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how it was just said. And commentary didn't comment that it was happening the entire night, I don't think.
Well, even commentary's like, yeah, that's not happening. we've because all of 98 was injured Buff, playing off his injury of his broken neck in kayfabe, and Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner feuding all fucking year. The second Rick Steiner comes back from injury, here he is again. I'm furious.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I like Scott Steiner. Rick Steiner could take his scrub ass somewhere else. He's not big Papa Pump.
You'd think he'd want the tag titles that he was stripped of.
Yeah, he should bring his mom out there. It's like, hey, listen, we didn't lose those belts.
So anyways, Nitro opening video plays, and then we get the Wolfpack music. It's Nash, Luger, Inferno, and Liz. They don't make their way to the ring. They stand on the ramp area, and Luger talks about his elbow injury, and he's going to be out for several months. Says it's his first injury ever, but, there was a whole
bullshit.
Yeah, there was a whole storyline where he had a metal plate in his arm, and that was his finisher at one point. Anyways.
Right.
Nash and Luger are going to forgive Rey Mysterio for all his past wrongs, like pinning Nash last week. Nash wants Rey to come out and accept a t-shirt to be in the NWO, and he calls Rey on his cell phone that's on his hip. And we just get Nash on the phone, and he goes, "Hey, Rey, I got something for you." Not interested? Okay. And then they leave. What the fuck was that?
I just want to point out, nobody, especially at 99, answers their cell phone that quickly. The amount of time he picked up the phone and put it in his face and started talking, the dial tone probably hadn't started yet. I remember cell phones in the 90s. Even the early 2000s, that was still a thing. So, no, my guy, your cell phone is not from the future.
A video highlights the series of matches between Bret Hart and Booker T. And then we get our first match. It's Cruiserweight champion Billy Kidman defending against Psychosis. Kidman wins. A fun match, but unfortunately it is the cruiserweights. The crowd eventually gets into it. I thought this was okay.
I like Kidman. I think I'm becoming a fan of Kidman.
He's the only thing to root for on this show.
Oh, you ain't kidding. That and Scott Steiner, but you know. Where's my Raven? I want my Raven. Anyways, I like this match for what it was. In a vacuum. I just wish they'd announced that there was going to be a Cruiserweight title match. I feel like that's something you announce, right?
No, it's the Cruiserweight division. They don't care, so why should we? That's kind of the attitude there. And there's going to be a lot of that on this show tonight. Hey, in a vacuum, I like this match, but it's whatever.
Right, Nitro.
Arn Anderson meets up with David Flair. And he says, I promised Rick I wouldn't hurt you, David. And Arn asks David, is he going to throw his whole family away because of that? And he points at Tori Wilson.
I've banged hotter chicks in my day than that gutter trash over there.
Yeah, Arn reminds David talking about wanting to be a pro wrestler like his dad, good old dad. Arn tells David that the New World Order will get rid of him. I don't need you anymore. David tells Arn that WCW and the Horsemen are old. Want Arn to get over it. So, David Flair, it's not good. It's not a good wrestler guy.
Am I just David Flair because of my hating on the old guard? Have I become David Flair? I just now realized this. No. I refuse to acknowledge this.
Did you betray your family with a taser for a hot blonde?
I will not confirm or deny this.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, fair enough. Hogan talking to Vincent backstage. Vincent wants to smack Stevie Ray if Ray gets out of line. I'm sure that'll end just fine.
Yes, Virgil, you are a tough guy. I promise you.
Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Bam Bam Bigelow. Not the most exciting match in the world, but Bigelow's he's getting up there. What I want to talk about is the more important part, where in the middle of the match, the pyro goes off. It's just exploding all over the arena, and then it's over, and Bigelow's like, is everything all right? What the fuck was that?
I'm remembering this. Oh my god, yeah, because there's that spot where he just sits there, like the pyro, the fire comes off the turnbuckles. He just sits there.
So Ray ends up winning him with the Joshi victory roll. Bigelow, fucking big as shit, got that roll over. Awesome. I like the finish.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
I broke you.
I just remembered that.
Well, they used to do this on Nitro in like 97, 98, where no matter what, at the top of the hour, they would blow off the pyro. No matter what was happening. Match? Yeah, they didn't care. It's just the top of the hour and they got to do it. So they don't learn, they just repeat.
Listen, that moment right there is the perfect embodiment of Nitro.
Mean Gene interviews Rey Mysterio Jr., and Gene assumes that the mask coming off was a good thing. Luger comes over, reminds Ray that he forgave Ray for injuring him. I don't know when that happened. That surely did not happen. They're just saying it did. And then Nash comes up from behind and beats him up. Cool.
Yay! Rey Mysterio got over.
Yay. And then randomly, Raven Bigelow are brawling wildly in catering, and as commentary identifies, Hack starts whacking people with kendo sticks. That is the Sandman / dude in barbed wire from a few weeks ago against Bigelow, and Raven's rich khaki dad friend.
The guy that's probably banging his mom?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
They were very unclear about what his role is in all of this.
Yeah. He does turn around and knock a cameraman down with a kendo stick, so that was fun. Ric Flair arrives at a building. Stevie Ray talks to the Wolfpack, how Vincent's pain in the ass. They want Ray to take out Vincent. I'm sure that will end swimmingly. And before the next match, Jerry Flynn cuts a promo saying he's sick and tired of Ernest the Cat Miller, 3-time karate champion, by the way. Puts himself over as, lightning foot that he is. Scott Norton tells Miller backstage that Flynn is ripping on him. Miller's mad. He goes to the ring. Here we have Ernest Miller versus Lightning Foot. This was horrible. This was boring. They were supposed to have a karate match, and they went into a bunch of headlocks. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, karate. Question. Does Nash still have the book at this point?
Yes.
Or did he already? Okay. So it seems like since he doesn't know how to get from point A to point B to start a match, it's always guy in back says, hey, guy in ring is talking shit about you. Guy in back's like, no, he didn't. And the guy in back is like, oh, he looks at TV. Oh, he is talking shit. I will go wrestle him now.
It's kind of repetitive,
Formula.
Yes.
Every show.
I'm all up for formulas. If they're remotely interesting, and I don't hate this idea, but it's the fact they're doing it with nerds.
Right. It's like Virgil and Cat and other Scott Norton, and who cares about freaking Lightning Foot Man?
So, funny enough, Kay, this is the third match in as many weeks where two guys get knocked out at the same time, and the ref says first one to his feet at 10 will win, in which the babyface is about to win, the heel will take the ref, and the manager will whack the dude from behind, and then the heel will win. I just reviewed this on the Starrcade 86, and a match that I researched on the build to Starrcade 86. So, we're definitely in, at least I am in, repeat finish territory in this exact scenario.
I see. So you must be driving wild watching this. Like, oh my god, it's a shit finish again.
Yeah, it's like, I just saw that.
Bust out scaffolding next?
It's like the three-way where the dude comes in, throws the guy out of the ring, and wins. That finish.
Oh, yeah,
Fucking
I
hate
hate that formula. It's so weak.
Hugh Morris defeats Perry Saturn. It sucked. We're done here. Chris
Moving
Benoit
on.
defeats Bret Hart in a great match until the finish.
A theme I've noticed. Good match. Finish sucked.
Yeah, this one was all about two Canadians trying to break each other's necks. It was awesome. It even goes through a few like good submission almost victories, and they get the ropes and shit. They spill outside, almost breaking their neck. Remember, they went over the top rope. Bret almost goes neck first on the apron.
Right.
And Wyndham and Hennig end up coming to the ring. Hart kicks Benoit onto the guard railing. They come down to attack Benoit as the referee is distracted by Hart. And then Hart grabs Benoit after that beating, puts him in the sharpshooter. Benoit reaches the rope, and then Hart just doesn't break the hold. DQ. Fuck off these finishes.
Sounds like a one Monday Night Raw.
It sounds like
Shit
Nitro to me.
finish. I mean, Nitro is Monday Night Raw. It might as well be the same thing at this point, right?
I think Monday Night Raw would have just had the ref disappear, and then you just never know the match ended.
I feel like that'd be comical at the very least. I could laugh at that.
Yeah. So Malenko runs down. He gets beaten up. Whoop-de-doo. Hogan, Nash, Inferno, Stevie Ray, Horace, and Vincent all make their way down to the ring. They say a bunch of shit, blah, 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 whatever. You got all that?
Almost don't care what Hogan has to say anyway.
Oh, no, it's the same shit over and over again.
He just comes out, brother, Jack, the Flair sucks, I'm the real man, I'm the NWO for life, brother Jack dude, walks away.
Well, what's weird is, at the end of the segment, in the background, Vincent and Stevie Ray start to fight each other, and they're pulled apart by Nash and Disco, and Hogan just continues.
Like, he just looks back, the fuck is going on? Whatever, just continue my promo.
He's like, I told those guys to fight. Heh, cool, all right, brother, Ric Flair's gonna retire. It's like, okay.
Brother Jack dude.
And then Mean Gene's in the ring, and WCW still president. Time's a clicking down on him, Ric Flair, for an interview, and this was the best part of the show. Was Ric Flair's crazy promo?
Question mark there. It's a big question mark there. Listen, I like Ric Flair's promos. How many of these promos am I going to see before I have to stop caring?
Well, you would hope that he wins at some point, right?
You would hope, but you probably in the back of your mind realize he's not going to. So these promos don't mean anything anymore to me, because you already know he already lost twice. Who cares?
So I have the script here from a part of his promo here. So he calls out David, and Flair lists the people that are in the Wolf Pack, and they got David Flair. Flair tells a story about meeting a blonde woman 20 years ago, and his life changed. Flair notes that the same blonde is in Charlotte, waiting for Daddy to come home. Flair says that the girl David is with knows who the real Nature Boy is, so he's kind of flirting there. And that's all he mentions of David, so he's like, I guess Ric Flair's like, dude, I get it. Go do your thing, son.
He's like, yeah, I met a blonde woman. It's your mom. I banged her. She's in the audience.
Good job, son.
Your girlfriend here, she'll come to bang me soon too. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely Ric Flair. And then he calls out Hogan, not Bischoff. That's kind of notable because he's just kind of disappeared from TV. It's very strange.
He's gone.
Yeah. Flair's having a cage built for Uncensored, and this is where we realize, oh my god, a WCW pay-per-view is in 2 weeks. Fuck.
Yeah, because I remember because you were talking about it because I'd asked, is there another pay-per-view coming up? Jokingly, you're like, no, 4 weeks. And then we get to this segment. It's, yeah, uncensored. What?
I was like, yeah, it's gonna be.
You made a different pay-per-view, like Slamboree or something like that.
I was like, not Stadium Stampede, Spring Stampede, right? That's in late March or April. Nah, we're getting Uncensored in 2 weeks. Cage with no door, with barbed wire at the top of the cage. So at least this sounds cool as fuck. And one man walks out, or two men walk in, one man walks out. Champion, brother.
I get the feeling this is going to be a mess, a fun mess, and Hogan's still going to win.
Main event.
He noted there was no door.
There was no door.
Get the feeling the NWO is going to find some way into that cage.
Where would you get that idea? I don't know where you get that idea. Yeah, you're crazy.
Call it a hunch.
You're a crazy guy. Main event, Goldberg, Rick Steiner, against nothing finer than Scott Steiner, and I'm buff and I've got the stuff Bagwell. No Michael. Hey, look, no Michael Buffer was here to introduce these guys, so I did it instead.
Yeah, that's right. They haven't used Michael Buffer the past, couple of shows now, have they? I guess they can't spend all that money.
What are you talking about?
Wasting his time. Wasted his time.
Let's see. Goldberg and Steiner have an awesome exchange. Rick Steiner even got in there. Bagwell is terrified of doing anything because of his. I guess he's traumatized from his neck. Can't really blame the guy there.
No, definitely can't.
No. They do a cool little spot here where Scott and Buff remove the turnbuckle and throw, I believe it was Rick into it, and then they put the turnbuckle back as the ref is turned around. Thought that was a nice little touch.
Smart heel stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. I wish we saw it more.
Yeah, they do it twice, as a matter of fact. So yeah, the heels were doing heel things. Scott prevents the jackhammer. Rick leaps off the top rope. But they botch the bulldog because Bagwell goes, fuck that. I'm not taking that thing that broke my neck last year. So clothesline, Rick covers Bagwell, picks up the win. Babyfaces win. They stand tall, and the show ends. Whoa.
He ended on a good match and a happy ending? Is this really Nitro?
It's weird. Weird.
Clearly we were on some kind of drugs and misremembered this.
And I'm going to give you a little teaser, Kay, for the next Nitro.
Oh boy, hit me with that teaser.
It is a famous Nitro for a certain hour of something not happening.
Oh, don't tell me any more than this.
Yes, there's your big
I need
teaser.
I need to experience something like this.
Yes.
You've got my interest.
Yes, I remember this Nitro as a kid. Because I looked up, I was like, what 99 March? Then I just kind of typed it in, and the first thing that comes up, I'm like, oh, it's that one. So there you go. There's that teaser. And that does it for this episode. This was part 2 of episode 77. See you next time, Kay.
See ya.